be a close matchup. It should be a good one for sure. I'm excited to see what Hunden has actually been able to do with this alternate attacks lineup. I know he's been with them for quite a while now, and in the Danish scene, he was one of those players that was really known for being able to get the best out of the young, talented players that he had to work with. So it's the question whether he can do it now within the German scene also. But going live into the pistol round, we will be. Oh, never mind. We seem to have actually had a stop called, so it seems like we may have a little bit of a break before we do actually go live. But yeah, well, as I was saying, it'll be interesting to see if Hunden has been able to mold these players together well, try and get the most out of all of his stars, I guess is the best way to put it. And also on the Red Reserve side, there is a couple of young and upcoming players that definitely can get some damage done. We see Plessen, Freddy Frog, Relaxa, and also Boten and DJL. They're no slack sider.
Yeah, kind of the Swedish sort of, not necessarily mixed teams, but oftentimes these Swedish teams, they seem to have the young players. They seem to rely on the skill quite a lot. That's where some of the Godsent players came from in terms of the Passions lineup. That's where, you know, Hampus and Brolam really made a name for themselves. So every chance for Red Reserve to try and do the same. And they will look to kick things off with the pistol, but Searson peeks straight out in towards mid. And alternate attacks get a couple of quick kills as Hunden also chimes in. He will now take a dink, as does his teammate Stefan. So some damage done, but still no frags for Red Reserve.
Yeah, just not really any success yet for Red Reserve. I like that early on aggressive push by alternate attacks to take the opening kills, and it just worked out so perfectly. They do, of course, still have two players who have been quite heavily tagged up, but it's just going to be backing off now, playing towards the sites with a 5-on-2. They don't really need to continue pushing aggressively, and it seems like we have seen Red Reserve at least making a decision about where they want to bring this. They will be grouping up on A long. DJL, the only one, or rather the one with the utility and the P250, while Plessen works with the Kevlar, and with the smoke and flash, they may at least be able to try and smoke off the door, or maybe even balcony, have that flash to try and blind the one player, but it's DJL instead to actually find that opening kill. He takes down Searson. Will still be CFN alive though, as he's looking to try and shut this down, and after taking one kill, he will just back off, ensure that he is able to stay alive with low HP, and allow for his teammates to come in and actually try and give him the support. As Plessen now going to be a difficult 1-on-4, but he starts it off well. Finds that opening headshot on towards Tizian, spots out the player still on the bomb site. He won't be able to connect any more bullets, rather, as he does have 30 seconds now to try and make his way onto the bomb site, and he's getting more damage done in this. Able to take down STFN. STFN now up close is going to just spam away and finds that kill eventually, but that was getting a bit dangerous there. Pleasant, two players left to find, both of those players being so heavily damaged, that really could have got difficult.
Close but no cigar for Red Reserve. They get quite a few kills, they get it close. The alternate attacks eventually close out the round, and an interesting buy here from alternate attacks, not going for a single rifle unless you count the scout, the sniper rifle in the mix, but other than that, the 4 UMPs up against the Desert Eagles. This could be slightly dangerous even in extended fights. If those Deegs spam away, you can sometimes get lucky with a headshot, or you can just do the damage with the chest shots as well if you're close range enough. You did see their Relaxer take a little bit of damage early on through the wall against that scout. It looks like the Deeg's not going to be able to find any entries just yet. DJL, however, will be taking the point as he pushes in towards mid. He's also going to work his way up danger. So alternate attacks conceding this portion of the map. But they do have 3 players ready to hold on A, and you can see those UMPs starting to fire. There goes Tizian, only getting 1 kill, and the Deagles come back with a couple more. Freddy Frog doubles down, and alternate attacks might go crashing out of this second round. A 2-man disadvantage for them to overcome.
Yeah, and that's the skill you were mentioning about these young Swedish players. They really can just they really can just back it all on their aim. They have great individual skill, and DJL right now has even been able to get more damage rather done onto the player on the bomb site. That is Hunden, down to 18 points of HP. Both players right now for the CT side on this A side of the map, but as we can see, the bomb has already begun to make its way out and towards B. As now it's a 3-on-2. Well, Hunden at least been able to find 1 kill to give them a bit of a chance now to bring this round back. But Freddy Frog playing up close, looking to try and get himself more, as he will find a third. Almost finds the 4th. He does the damage, but he will eventually fall now, leaving Pleasant and Relaxed to just close this out, and they will be successful as Red Reserve pull off the upset with nothing but 5 Desert Eagles. You mentioned early on how dangerous they can be, and it did turn out to be the truth.
Yeah, there we go. Freddy Frog in particular finding 3, and the rest of the team does enough. And you can see Red Reserve not wanting to make a similar mistake. They elect to go for 2 AKs just to make sure they can win this round, or at least have the best chance of winning this round. On the attack side of things, they have almost fully forced, apart from Searson, who's keeping a bit of cash behind. Relaxer there, taking quite a lot of damage from the scout early on. Searson looking to capitalize, but with just a USP, he still gets the headshot. Boughton is on the other side, but he's not going to go for the repeak. So the weaker buy again gets an opening kill, this time in favor of ATTAX. You can see Red Reserve looking a little more cautious now after losing that first frag.
Yeah, they definitely need to be careful. Of course, it is now the tables have turned, and instead it's alternate attacks working with a much weaker buy. And Red Reserve, of course, are aware what damage can be done with those pistols, especially considering they were able to pull it off themselves in the previous round. But grouping up right now towards A, they will be just looking to try and get this control. Searson pushing quite aggressively here. Could get caught off guard, but he finds the kill onto DJL with nothing but a USP. He will eventually fall as he looks to try and retrieve that UMP for himself, but still one-man advantage in favor of alternate attacks, rather. So let's see how Red Reserve are going to be able to get themselves towards this bomb site, as it looks like they will now begin to commit. And the problem is already 3 players are waiting for them. It will be the kills mostly going in favor of alternate attacks, as it's all on to Plessin now in a 1-on-3. Finds himself the first. We'll spot out the player over towards the van, but the flank is still going to be coming in hot and fast, and it could get really dangerous right now for Plessin. But then again, if he's hitting headshots like this, it won't matter. And now it's a 1-on-1 Tizzy, and he has the surprise factor. He has the element of surprise to work with him, but he's going to get spotted out. He's able to upgrade to an AK at least. As now the HP looking a little bit closer between each player, but only 1 bullet is needed. But it doesn't matter. Plessin is able to find the headshot, takes down Tizzy, and then pulls off the 1 versus 3 clutch to get Red Reserve that 2nd round in a row and keep them working with this solid buy and stop them from being reset.
Yeah, Plessin really saves the day there, or at least saves the round there, because Red Reserve were looking in trouble when he was in the 1-on-3, but he got the headshots really quickly. And so now heading into round 4, alternate attacks only have USPs to work with. I did see a couple of kills come through with the USPs previously, but I'm not expecting to see the same here, especially as Red Reserve look to be grouping up around the B site. DGL spots up the first man. You can already see, though, ATTAX leaning towards this side of the map, but they're just getting annihilated. Searson will get the 1 kill, but it's only a MAC-10 loss. You can see the second player running in. It's actually a team kill from Relaxer. That's a little awkward. It's only, again, a MAC-10 loss, though, so nothing too damaging. The Searson has the MAC in hand. He will fall. And Red Reserve do hold on to the 3 AKs, even after the team kill comes out.
Yeah, Relaxer getting a bit happy on the trigger there, perhaps taking down his teammate, and didn't really, luckily enough, didn't have any impact in the outcome of the round. But still, of course, you don't really want to be dropping those weapons. That could have been an extra MAC-10 kill for, I believe it was DJL to work with. He could have had himself the AK without having to actually purchase up also the Kevlar. But going into this round is where it gets important now. Alternate attacks are able to get the buyout. Searson even gets himself the AWP, as it looks like currently he is going to be playing that towards the B bomb site, and it looks like Red Reserve are just going to split up and go for a very standard default. Some presence being shown towards A. 2 players on B platform also spamming, and Freddy Frog just waiting to see if he can catch any aggression. And look at this. He may be able to do so. Tizian has got boosted up. He is just going to be, for the moment, holding, yet to actually advance himself forward into the drop room itself. Or rather, the platform above the drop room. But still 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. He's just going to be holding this and waiting to see if anyone from Red Reserve gets perhaps a little bit overzealous and goes for the peak. But early on, damage has been heavily exchanged between both teams. Mostly in favour of Red Reserve, though.
Boughton drops the flash, but with the rest of the team positioned elsewhere, he's not going to overextend. With 1 minute left on the clock, Red Reserve will be slowed down by a smoke out towards Plat. And alternate attacks do have a little bit of utility left to work with to try and slow this push even longer. With 50 seconds left, BCFN decides to go for the aggression out through mid, and he reacts quickly to that off angle there. Boughton caught out. In the meantime, Plessin takes a ton of damage, down to 7 HP, and another dink comes in. DJL, the receiver of that one. So Red Reserve, dangerously low on health. As the push comes in, Tizian sprays a couple, and Freddy Frog doesn't commit to the refrag. So 24 seconds, the bomb being dropped. Red Reserve might just have to call off this round, unless Plessin can get some very quick kills. He does find one, but I think that's going to end the round. Even with that frag, it just cannot be done.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's even really worth them trying to take down any more kills in this process, because they don't really have too much money available. A bit of damage that was done on that, I believe, the 3rd round of the game, when alternate attacks went for the force by themselves. It just doesn't really allow them to build up economy. But yeah, going into this one now, Alternate Attacks getting a fairly clean gun round, only losing one weapon themselves. That was, I believe, STFN, who lost that M4 up on platform, but still, they're doing a good job keeping 4 players alive. They're allowed to, in this round, get every single bit of utility that they require, but still not too much money left over in the bank. And Red Reserve, they are able to continue buying. They still have the economy to do so. It's not perfect. We do see 2 players relegated to slightly weaker weaponry. Boatin being forced to the scout, and he actually just managed to win out that battle early on. Connects the damage onto Sirison, who, with the AWP, isn't actually able to return it. So good damage early on in favour of Red Reserve. Boatin, nice find, as a minute and 30 seconds now remains, and it looks like Sirison is going to continue trying to look for this opening pick. He is just going to continue hanging around over towards the A-bomb site. Has now backed off at least, and I believe ECFN should be joining him quite soon.
Ooh, Tizian gets a dink there. Again, Freddy Frog trying to force the trades in towards drop. After taking a dink, he decides to fall back. So clearly Red Reserve, they want to go for some drop presence, but they haven't really been fully committing to it. And as soon as they take some damage, they look to fall back. In the meantime, Hunden and Stefan holding alongside each other in towards Plat. They have the crossfire set up with 1 player up on tree. And then Hunden, if he gets mollied out, could still be in trouble. So that's something to watch for, but it's only Freddy Frog with the 1 Molotov left. In fact, the entirety of Red Reserve have very little to work with in terms of nades, but Bolton spots Searson, and he takes down the AWP after attacking him earlier. And there goes Hunden in the meantime, catching Pleasant off guard. With 30 seconds left, the push will come in, but Tizian shuts down that side of the push. And now the play will be towards B. Stefan having to hold this one off. 22 seconds left. Red Reserve looking a little cautious as the flashbang works in favor of Stefan. He gets that frag, 2 kills for him, and the nade will finish the final man off. ATTAX get their 3rd on the board.
Yeah, that was a very disjointed push there by Red Reserve. They just never really had any players in positions to actually pick up trades for any of those kills that they lost, and we saw because of that, Alternate Attacks are able to take that round. They were able to shut it down. Originally, it was kind of trades going back and forth, but from that point onwards, Red Reserve kind of just pushed one by one and just didn't win out any of the aim duels, I guess, is the only real reason that they lost the round. But coming into this one now, Red Reserve only working with pistols. They will be aiming to just try and get some damage done, maybe a bomb plant if possible, but Cobblestone, one of these maps around the eco, you really have to work for that bomb plant if you want to do so. Over towards A, you have so much ground you have to cover and allows for the rotates to come in. And also over towards B, of course, funneling through this choke point, it's not always the best idea. And you see early on, it is going to be Hunden that finds that opening kill onto Pleasant.
Yeah, the pistol shouldn't get too much done. The AWP is holding on the other side, although the shot is baited out there as Searson misses. So we are going to see Red Reserve look to group up, maybe see if they can find an entry or 2. However, Alternate Attacks, again, they have shown a willingness to put 3 players on the A site, which isn't something you see too often. But they've decided to take that risk, and it looks like it should pay off. As the push comes in 1 by 1, Red Reserve will likely go down. Glock's trying to get something done, but it's just not meant to be. Tizian gets 2 kills. He might have the chance for a 3rd here. Belton, the 1 man left, trying to jiggle in and out, hoping for a dink. It's not going to happen, though. It looks like Alternate Attacks will reclaim the lead. After winning the pistol, then losing the subsequent rounds, they will finally get back into the driver's seat as Stefan pushes in for the final frag. Now the question is, what sort of buy can Red Reserve get here? It should be decent enough, but they did kind of lack the proper nades in that previous gun round to actually go for a late round execute. That could be an issue again, but their nades are looking okay, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem.
Yeah, but they don't actually have the op onto Relaxi yet, which is something that they could be definitely missing out on. But coming into this gun round, they do at least have all that utility, as you mentioned. They do have enough to actually be able to try and get something done. And it looks like they will be early on heavily favouring over towards this A-bomb site. Maybe just trying to group up and take control of middle, it seems, as they do currently actually have 4 players in this position. It's just Pleasant holding for some aggression, which, as we can see, he may be able to find. He perfectly peeks that angle, finds the headshot for himself, and it looks like he will now just try and regroup with his teammates who are going over towards an A-bomb site, which has actually been stacked by Alternate Attacks, which could really complicate things. As now Relax it, he takes the lead, is going to be able to find 1 kill before falling, but it seems like Alternate Attacks are going to be able to bring it back. They're able to find a couple kills between Tizian and SDFN. So Freddy Frog and Pleasant now stuck on the ramp trying to make their way up, and once again it's Tizian to win out that aim duel, all onto Freddy Frog, and he will be found. Tizian with a hat-trick, SDFN with 2 of his own, and it will be Alternate Attacks being able to get themselves yet another round, as the score is now 5-3.
And again, Red Reserve not really finding anything out of that round. Even though they got a couple of trades to go their way, they never really got themselves onto the bomb site. And again, ATTAX having a heavy presence towards A. Might be worth Red Reserve trying to go for a faster B push, because there are only a couple of players here holding the actual site, and that could be quite difficult to find multiple frags, especially with Stefan having this silenced M4. You can already see it looks as though Red Reserve are indeed lining up a B push. There are a couple of players holding for the CTs, and considering Red Reserve only have pistols, with how passive ATTAX are playing, it should be fairly safe for them. But the round still has to be played out. The push is going to come in, and Tizian spots them out. The smoke still hadn't been deployed before the push came out, and that allowed Tizian a free frag before the push came in. Decent damage done there on towards Hunden, but oh, I thought that was Hunden for a second, but Searson with the AWP was the man to find the frag. And there we go, ATTAX get their 6th round together, but again, the timing seemed slightly off there from Red Reserve, pushing just before that smoke landed.
Yeah, their pushes seem to be just kind of a bit not as coordinated as you'd hope to see, but it is still early into the game. They still have a lot of time to try and fix those issues, and once again, they are just going to be working with the 5 rifle buy. And early on, it looks like we may have an aggressive push coming out from ECFN over towards A long, but a Molotov is going to deny him any sort of actual aggression for the moment. But a nice nade by Freddy Frog brings Searson down to 53 as he was looking to try and go for that boost in towards drop room to try and find the opening kill with the op. Not something you see all the time, but it can be effective, but not when utility is going to be used like that perfectly to just force him backwards. As now, still a 5-on-5 early on damage in favour of Red Reserve. But it seems like they will just continue to hold this passive default, waiting to see if they can find any picks, as we've seen also so far in this game. They really have been favouring over towards drop room early on, trying to actually get that control, and so far they haven't really had too much success. So let's see if they're going to try and actually go for something similar. The bomb brought over towards the B halls, and up towards B long actually some contact is going to be found. Relaxa boosted up is going to be taken down by STFN. One more player found by Hunden. And now it is once again alternate ATTAX been able to find those opening picks to give themselves a 2-man advantage.
Yeah, again, a couple of kills to start the round. Exactly what the CTs would have been looking for. Freddy Frog is down drop, but his teammates are going to look to work the opposite side of the map. Freddy Frog is still going to get 1 kill. Unfortunately for him, he's exposed from all angles, and ECFN is going to get 2 easy kills. Solid spray transfer. They don't check the corner. Yeah, it's just not looking great from Red Reserve. They don't quite look methodical on their pushes, and they also don't really look too convincing. And just in terms of even trying to sort of trade with their teammates, it never seems like it's quite there for them. Maybe worth taking a timeout at this point, because nothing's really been going for them. These rounds haven't really even been close. They've been quite dominant for alternate ATTAX, it's felt like.
Yeah, certainly. It seems like alternate ATTAX, even early on, if they lose that opening pick, they're able to just bring it back. If we even just go back to the round where I believe it was Tizian who was taken down and after he boosted up into the drop room, just even then, they were able to bring it back perfectly. They took a gamble, they stacked over towards the A-bomb site, I believe, slightly, or yeah, and then they just managed to shut it down. So nice work. Freddy Frog, though, up close. He's going to have an upper hold in this angle that he's looking tempted to peek, but there will be a flash in conjunction with it to try and actually blind this player up, try and force him back, and Searson, after taking that 1 shot from the timing, is going to be able to retreat, and a Molotov comes in from his teammate to completely deny this push for the moment for Red Reserve. As alternate ATTAX now, once again, gambling 3 players onto this A side of the map, leaving Tizian towards connector at least so he can make his way back to B if it is going to be needed. But for the moment, Red Reserve, all their presence grouped up towards A. And it looks like this will still be their target, at least for the moment.
Yeah, it seems to be the case as they are even lining up the smokes to go over the top. We saw them go for a similar play towards B previously. That did not particularly work out. ATTAX again seem to have the reads on point. They're stacking the A site just as the push comes in. And ECFN finds 2 kills to cut off the A long play. Hunden going to hold mid, gets an easy frag. And it might be him making these calls, because Red Reserve, they didn't really make too much noise towards A there, but still, the entire team could rotate over. And even though a couple of kills come out, alternate ATTAX again will clean up the round. An 8-3 scoreline. Red Reserve finally get the AWP into their hands, into the hands specifically of Relaxa. They have full nades on the rest of the players, but really, this is almost a must-win round at this point. Otherwise, they risk falling really far behind.
Yeah, if they were to lose this one once again, their economy will be broken unless they're able to get at least get the bomb plant. So, very important round from them to start to begin to build up some rounds and make this a respectable half. But early on, it seems like Red Reserve, they will be just continuing on with what they've been trying in the past and with very little success. But this time around, it is going to work a bit better. DJL spamming that mid smoke finds the aggressive push by ECFN and allows Red Reserve to take that one-man advantage. But we've seen this in the past and we've seen it fall apart from this point forward. So let's see if this time they are going to be able to capitalize on this, as with the up relaxer just going to be holding, waiting for that counter aggression to come in. He spots out one player, brings Hunden down to only 16 HP. And some good damage also done now, as Red Reserve for once looking like they may be able to take this round. And let's see where they do eventually decide to take this. And over towards A long, actually, Sirison has decided to push aggressively, and that could also be caught off guard. There you have it. Bolton going to be able to take down one more, as is Freddy Frog and Red Reserve. Now this is a round they should be winning from this point forward. Only 2 players remain. Just need to group up and take a bomb site together, and they have made the correct decision. They're making their way towards A, rather, and currently no one here to actually try and defend this for alternate attacks.
Yeah, unfortunately for ATTAX, now they get the push out through A, but it's not really in time. Stefan tried to go through the smoke, or at least was thinking about it. Instead, though, he attempts to get the spam through at the right time and doesn't quite line it up. Might be worth alternate attacks, though, trying to play for some frags here. Their money is certainly good, but Relaxer's not going to allow that. He gets the frag, and Hunden on 16 HP, even if he gets 1 kill, will be pretty happy with that, to be honest. It's much more likely he will look to save. And this is exactly what Red Reserve needed, just to be able to win a round convincingly, to keep the guns in their hands. This is what they would have been looking for. However, it did kind of all stem from that aggression out towards mid, and it's yet to be seen whether this is reproducible, because it mainly came from that first pick, and then alternate attacks were kind of scrambling to get back into the round. So if alternate attacks continue their passive play, we'll have to see if Red Reserve can crack that CT setup, because that mainly came from that opening aggression out through mid.
Yeah, that's usually what a default is for when you're just going for one of those split and pick styles. That's usually just to try and actually capitalize on any mistakes that are made by the opposing side. So alternate attacks, after losing that opening kill in the previous round with that aggressive push, I'd presume they're probably not going to go for that once again. At least not through the mid smoke. They may send the op to try and find that opening pick, but we shouldn't see something as drastically insane as just crouching rather straight through that mid smoke. But yeah, early on, Sirison went for the peak, didn't really spot anyone out. Damage was done on both ECFN and Sirison, and over towards drop room, I believe it was also returned towards Freddy Frog with a nice nade being placed towards that position. But early on, it's still a 5-on-5 to Tias. It seems like they will be doing a very similar round to the previous one, just leaving these 2 players to hold once again. And alternate attacks, as you can see, they've moved this back to a very passive defense, but not anymore. Hunden, he gets taken down. The Tracer has been found, I believe, by Plessen. Will allow Red Reserve to claim that opening once again, and here we go. Alternate attacks trying to bring it back. They're looking to try and face the drop room. Could get dangerous for both teams, as SDFN finds himself 1 and a second as he transfers onto Freddy Frog. And once again, alternate attacks are able to bring it back into their advantage.
There we go. Alternate attacks, as you were saying, managed to bring it back despite losing the opening pick. We are going to see ECFN try and play up close towards A long. That might allow them to get some early information, because he is continuing to play up. You can see now, Red Reserve, they're going to try and come back towards B, but ECFN is peeking all the way through A long. This is going to be a lot of information. The push comes in, but Boughton just about holds it off. I think he took a dink there, but getting that kill makes a big difference, because now they cannot fully commit to the rotate back towards B. You can see Stefan, in fact, is leaning more towards the A side of the map, so Boughton might be selling this fake well enough, and Searson nearly caught in the open, the AWP in hand. Misses that opening shot. That does now prompt the rotate back, but Boughton is here on the flank, and he gets a double spray down. The bomb, though, needs to be picked up. Relaxer doesn't have the time, and Tizian is going to win simply by staying alive. I think their Relaxer may have missed one jump that made the difference. The bomb was dropped, and that's a really, really grim round loss. That should have been Red Reserve's round after the flank came in, but the time just goes against them.
You hate to see it. That is worst case scenario for Red Reserve. Just getting reset, yeah, and just it's not what you wanted to see. And I think Relax actually did just about miss the bomb when it was taken down from the bomb site. I think it actually fell over a little bit onto the ledge and down into the little corner. So I don't think he was able to pick it up without actually jumping back over and then back onto the site. So it did kind of mess him up. And you can see finally a pause has been called by Red Reserve, and they probably just want to compose themselves after that round. After that double kill from Boatin on the flank, that's a round they definitely should have had, but just kind of waiting too long. The time didn't work in their favor, but they do have the pause now. They still have a chance to pick up 2 more rounds, and if they could get themselves up to 6, that's still a respectable half, then they would be still fairly happy with that, especially considering how this game had started off for them after losing that first gun round. But yeah, it's not looking amazing for Red Reserve right now.
And it's as simple as that, really. Heading into round 14, they will have to win with what they have, and it's still going to be quite a strong buy with Relaxer getting to save that AWP alongside the team having AKs. Relaxer can still go for full nades, so they'll really have anything they could want. But you can see ATTAX also have a full buy on their side, so could still go either way. We're going to see both teams have AWPs, which we haven't seen too often so far on this map. So we'll get to see if they get into any fights against each other. In the meantime, Hunden out towards Platt. Likes playing this close position. It's quite difficult to get multiple kills there and fall back, but oftentimes he's playing there mainly to allow his teammates to have an easier time of things. Now, however, Hunden will fall back, so not quite the advanced position. We see the re-smoke come in. It's going to slow things down. So ATTAX are using a few of their smokes early, although they've held on to quite a few of their nades. Look at Plesson, though. He might think of making a play as the flash comes in. He gets that opening kill, although Searson is there for the trades. And you saw there, even after finding the initial frag, there was no support from Plesson. The rest of his team were not out towards Platt. So even with the individual kill coming through, the trade can come out and it's still just a 4v4. And here comes the push down drop. Hunden's going to hold on to give his team the man advantage.
Yeah, and also ECFN playing up close on A has heard these footsteps. Will they check this position is the question, and it doesn't seem so. He'll be able to find himself one, and then they're going to be able to find that trade frag successfully once again for the second time in that round. And alternate attacks are able to chain 2 rounds together, get themselves up to double digits, and ensure that Red Reserve now going into the final round of this first half are going to have a very weak economy. Plesson gets an AK at least, as should Relaxa, but other than that, mostly just going to be pistols, it seems, and at least a decent amount of utility is available for them to perhaps try and go for one of these executes that they clearly do have prepared. We've seen them gone for them rather when they have just mostly pistols, and I'm kind of surprised really we haven't seen them go for something like that on one of their buy rounds yet, rather. Sorry, but yeah, let's see what they go for this time, as ECFN is going to be pushed up aggressively on A, and it seems like there may be a few terrorists making their way towards this direction, as they do just look to try and regroup on A long, look to try and get themselves that map control.
The bomb's still being left behind, so it doesn't look like it will be a full push from Red Reserve yet. But the Swedes are, as you were saying, going to make some ground towards A long, gain some presence there. In the meantime, Hunden with the deep smoke is willing to go up towards Platt, but decides to fall back. So with a minute left on the board, neither side making any decisive maneuvers, but you can see Red Reserve, they've had to invest so heavily into what little weaponry they have, that they have so few pieces of nades left. They literally have 2 flashes and a single smoke. So they're going to have to get it done with that alone. Actually, I don't know if the sidebar's showing it wrong. It might be Boughton having some nades. I don't know really. But either way, the push is going to come forwards. The resmoke comes in towards Platt though, so with 30 seconds, Red Reserve are just going to barrel through the smoke. Stefan good for the 1 frag. Tizian is up close with the M4. Sprays only 1. Freddy Frog gets the trade, but Hunden is also in position. And Freddy Frog left in a very tough spot. 15 seconds, he needs this frag. Does find it, but in comes the trade. A team ace to close the half for alternate attacks, and a very strong CT side.
Yeah, they'll be very happy with an 11-4 half. Cobblestone, I'd say one of the maps that is considered maybe slightly terror-sided. It can kind of go either way depending on the teams, but yeah, they'll be very happy with an 11-4 half, especially after losing that round following the pistol. They did end up going down 3-1, and then bringing it back perfectly and just locking it down time to time. From round to round rather, and just completely just having it on shutdown. But going into the second half, of course, it's not over yet. If they lose the pistol, Red Reserve will be in a good position then to perhaps try and build the comeback. But how they performed in that first half, I don't know how confident I am on that one. But anyway, let's get back into the action now as the round has begun. Over on the terrorist side, it will be Hunden picking up some utility coming into the pistol. And over on the red reserve side, it will be DJL to get a defuse kit. And the rest of the players, of course, just going to be working with Kevlar. There's also a smoke available. And early on, it looks like we may see an aggressive push coming in. Botan looking to try and make his way down towards mid along with one other player. And it seems like Alternate Attacks have a plan of their own. And that's instantly towards this B bomb site. Sirison, he's the first player to find contact. Connects a small amount of damage on towards DJL. As it looks like they will be grouping up for a B-bomb site hit with 3 players also above the drop room, and no one right now trying to actually hold this position. Botan, the closest player, making his way in through the window, will find that opening kill on the ECFN. Maybe able to find a couple more as he also shuts down Tizzy, and Freddy Frog chimes in, and as does Plessin. And it's going to be Red Reserve picking up a very crucial pistol round there to get themselves up to 5.
There we go, the kills come in across the board, and Tizian is going to go for the dualies. Why not? Seen a few players pick them up recently. Definitely a little more popular than they were in the past. I mean, if you've only got 1,450, I guess it's just worth going for it if you want the head armor. That's exactly what he has decided to do. Still only pistols for the entire team, though. B-Stack has come in from Red Reserve. Pretty standard start to the round, though, to be honest. 3 players leaning towards B. We're going to see the push come through momentarily. Red Reserve need to hold on to this round win. And they look good to do so. Plessin gets the 2 kills, and after some assistance from Balton, he should stay alive. Indeed he will. Freddy Frog secures the final frag. And Red Reserve get the round they were looking for fairly comfortably. And this round should be even easier, as ATTAX will unlikely go for any real investment.
Yeah, most likely just going to be the Glocks. We see Sirison is also, of course, saving for the AWP, so ensuring they can get that out in the first gun round doesn't really... They're not really in too much of a push situation right now to be actually forcing up on that, with everyone at least in the previous round, so ensuring that they will have a good first gun round coming in, and early on it looks like they're going to be going for an extremely passive round. It seems like they must be expecting, I'd presume, some aggression to come out by Red Reserve. So at the moment, they aren't really going for that. They are playing actually quite passive, other than that one player pushed up a bit more aggressive on A long, and that's just relaxing with an MP9 looking to try and build up some bank for himself, and he may actually have the opportunity to do so as Alternate Attacks now do group up towards A long. Only Glocks to work with, and an MP9 waiting on the other side of this corner. This could get really messy. This could be an absolute bloodbath, and it seems like it may as the smoke goes down. First kill in favour of Relaxa, gets himself a second, and he eventually does get overwhelmed, but he still has Botan, of course, in position to try and hold this down, and with a FAMAS and a much longer range, angle rather, he has no problem at all doing so. Finds himself that hat-trick, and Red Reserve now up to 7, but this is when the ball comes back out. Sirison also, of course, as I mentioned, gets the off out, and there's also quite a lot of utility for Alternate Attacks to work with into this one.
So back into the gun round we go. And orbs on both sides in the initial gun round, which isn't something you see all the time, but ATTAX were willing to save for that. We are going to see DGL go straight up towards Plat with the smoke being deployed. He's going to get aggressive here. I'll be interested to see if he sticks around, because it's quite difficult to fall back from that advanced position after you get up there. So it's certainly a risky position to play, and DGL is now falling back, as you can see on the mini-map, to a more safe position, but Hunden, straight through the door, gets that opening kill, just tapping away, and gets lucky with the headshot on towards Balton. He was lining it up, to be fair, so you got to give him credit. He does know that lineup, and that makes a huge difference. Getting that opening pick makes it a lot easier for ATTAX. They still don't have the best of utility, but the man advantage is going to be very, very valuable now.
Yeah, Hunden, the dirty dog with that filthy opening kill there, taking down Botan on middle. Not going to be happy about that, but relax it. He has the angle held here and is going to be able to take down ECFN to bring us back into a 4-on-4, and because of that, it is going to be an instant B-bomb site commitment, and early on, it's going to be the CTs winning that one out, but the trades back and forth, Freddy Frog even able to drop the bomb in towards the drop room, and that could be very, very dangerous now for Alternate Attacks, as it's only Tizian and Sirison to have to try and reclaim this, and only 30 seconds to do so. It's getting difficult. Nice nade goes in. Some damage is connected by Relax It. And with 25 seconds on the clock, they don't really have too much time to hang around. If they want to try and win this, they need to get a move on now to try and pick up that bomb. 19 seconds now remains. Will eventually begin to move. Plessin, though, he finds the first Tizzy and trades it eventually, but it's costly in terms of HP as he finds himself a second. All onto Freddy Frog now in a one-on-one, and Tizian takes the bomb. He's just going to fall back off and try and get this planted, it seems. And this is certainly a winnable situation, but Freddy Frog pushing around is going to be able to find it. And he denies that bomb plant, so Red Reserve with another round for themselves are going to take it up to only a 3-round difference.
Yeah, they get themselves the gun round they were looking for, even if it was a little bit closer than they may have hoped. The round win is the main thing they are aiming for at this point. As long as they can keep that going, they can get right back in this game. And ATTAX here have very little investment into this round. They're really going to be saving hard to make sure they have a full buy into the next one. They haven't even gone for Kevlar except for Tizian. So clearly they are willing to save for the full gun rounds. That means in this round, we're just going to see them likely push through out towards Plateau. Shouldn't really have much chance of success. You can see Hunden making noise, and ooh, Relaxer, after missing the shot with the AWP, switches to the USP for the opening. DJL only gets the one kill, but Freddy Frog in position sprays them all down, thanks to the damage from DJL. So it's back to only a 2-round deficit, but you can see the money on ATTAX very strong for this round.
Yeah, only 2 rounds now in the difference, but alternate attacks, of course, they haven't really had too much success on this T side so far. Red Reserve stepping it up once they swapped over to the counter-terrorist side, similar to what we saw from alternate attacks, of course. But now the op once again out for Sirius, and let's see if he's going to be able to get anything done. This time they probably won't have the luck of having Hunden find that opening frag for the mid doors, but it looks like they will actually be making their way towards this side of the map in the end anyway, or rather even in the beginning, as it is still very early into this round, and it looks like they may have already made a decision about where they want to take this. And it's only going to be one player right now to try and actually hold this down. That's just relax it up on A long, and perhaps he could get overwhelmed. But playing a fairly passive angle. His goal right now, just try and find one kill, then back off. But it looks like instantly he has begun to retreat, and it's ECFN. Look at this aggressive push straight up ramp. Maybe able to find the back of one of his opponents, but relax it. He finds that opening kill, takes down the first player. Boaten also going to be able to spot one player over towards the tree, and he's yet to actually get that kill for himself. And Relax on long right now has a problem. He is getting sandwiched, but he continues to hit the shots. Eventually trades do come in, but still Red Reserve right now with a 1-man advantage and a heavy HP advantage as Hunden is taken so low, down to 5 points of HP, and he's also right now stuck towards the door. Boaten just looking to try and stay alive, waste as much time as possible. Freddy Frog, he is going to be spotting that cross, allowing his teammate to know if anyone tries to get closer to his position, and a nice spam through the door takes down Hunden. As I mentioned, very little HP that he had to work with, and it's all onto Tizian now. 1 on 3, knows the position of at least 2 of these players. But it's still going to be extremely difficult as Freddy Frog just spamming away, looking to try and cause a bit of a distraction. Finds the first kill there though, as he does catch Freddy Frog off guard, and he does have the bomb. He escapes towards the B-bomb site, goes back for the fight. But DJL ends up winning it in the end, and Red Reserve now 1 round in the difference as they get themselves up to double digits.
Yeah, Freddy Frog there with the spam gave away exactly where he was. That allowed the kill to come in, and they could have just gone straight to the B site there if he wanted to get the bomb plant, but decides to play for the win, goes for the kill straight up. And it nearly worked, but not quite enough for the frag. And so ATTAX again going for the full spy with the MAC-10 in hand on towards Sis, and the rest of the lineup can afford the full rifles. Ooh, decent nade early on. Tizian down to 67 points of health. Looks like ATTAX are just going to line up the quick B push here, running straight through the smokes to try and gain control of the site. DJL is here holding off, spots the man, and just about gets that frag. The push still not really coming in. The counter flashes now will slow things down. And again, alternate attacks just kind of stuck in no man's land. They're not on the site. They're not really in cover. Finally, Hunden gets a kill. But I think it's too late at this point. The flank is coming in. There's 3 players on B. Although Hunden still making it happen. Gets a second kill. So maybe some sort of a chance. But Relaxer is here for the big flank. And it's Hunden who's going to have to ace. But he gets a 3rd kill. Surely DJL should get the trade. He's not peaking just yet. But Hunden eventually is caught in the back. Despite his best efforts, we're back to an even scoreline.
Yeah, right now, just Red Reserve really stepping it up. We see Hunden there doing his best to try and get the first T round. I believe it would have been for alternate attacks, but it just wasn't enough. He was able to pick up 3. His teammates just not really giving him any assistance. But into this one now, they don't really have any firepower to actually try and back themselves up with. So it should be actually Red Reserve being able to claim the lead back for themselves. And let's see if they're going to be able to do so. Relax it. Goes for the aggressive peek on mid. I don't know if he actually spotted out any of those players. The smoke allowing for alternate attacks' position to remain unknown, at least for the moment. But the guilty being thrown out, it should now be known. Sirison, there's quite a lot of damage there by Boaten actually, and running straight through this mid smoke. It's not going to be starting off so well. Boaten just shutting this down, but eventually the trade comes in. Testing from the door now with the UMP, finds himself 1 more, or rather the first for himself in this round, 1 more for his team overall. As it's all onto Hunden, and he will be dropped by Freddy Frog.
Well, Red Reserve, with a flawless CT side, get back into the leads. And alternate attacks will be wondering where their lead has gone. 11-4 up at the half, and it has all gone wrong for them. They're going to have to get around on their T side sooner rather than later. And they'll look to do it here with the full buy, with the AWP yet again. Let's see what they have in mind. We've seen them go for the pushes, but never really fully commit, it feels like. It never really feels like they fully go for the push out to the site. So they kind of just get stuck in between where the rotate is allowed to come in. That's making things quite easy for Red Reserve. They're having stacks towards the sites that attacks are pushing because of the rotation. Okay then, Hunden gets that kill through the smoke. I didn't think he was going to find the frag, but after doing the damage, he gets the opening. So again, Hunden gets the entry for the team. This has been happening quite often, and yet they still haven't converted the round win off the back of it. Let's see if this will be the difference to that trend so far. Hunden getting the opening, and ATTAX surely will be looking to win this round now. This is a round, it almost feels like they have to win it at this point with how this game has been going.
Yeah, if they lose this would be absolutely heartbreaking, but Botan, he's looking to try and get aggressive himself. If he gets the timing correct, perhaps he could find a couple of kills out of this one, but if he doesn't get it right, there is multiple players just holding this angle, waiting on the other side for him to push up, and it seems like Red Reserve do have a bit of a read. That aggressive peek on B long now allows them to bring one player back over to assist A, and also the flank coming in by Pleasant really could cause damage, as the terrorists right now are taking this extremely slow. Two players still grouped up in middle, 3 on A long, and they will finally begin to commit, but right now they're going to find a bomb site full of CT players, and it's going to be extremely difficult. Pleasant, he burns a little bit in that Molotov towards middle, but they don't seem to notice that as he gets himself 2 quick kills, but it may not be enough as his teammates on the site had 0 success in actually finding a kill at all. Pleasant 1 on 3 is aware of the position of all these players, I do believe, and he gets himself the 40 ace. It's looking likely and almost extremely possible at this point as the Molotov goes down. He's going to be able to force that player up onto the bomb site itself. As he drops off, he spots him out. SDFN burns down, and it's the ace for Pleasant. What a round coming in there for Red Reserve to continue building this lead even further. And you mentioned that's a round that alternate attack should be winning every single time, but not when you have Pleasant on the opposing team, apparently.
How do you rebound from that? That looked like almost a guaranteed round win. This is the point I think you have to take a timeout. That's just such a harsh way to lose a round. You think you have it in the bag, it gets snatched away from you. ATTAX must be feeling like everything is just going wrong for them on this T side. 3 players looking to get onto the A site there. You saw they had to get the bomb across, so they committed to peeking. And that meant that Pleasant could just take fight after fight and come out on top. Either way, ATTAX, they can't dwell on that round loss. They have to focus on this round 25. They still have the chance to come back into this matchup. And to be fair, Red Reserve surprisingly don't have that much money built up, considering they've won every single CT round. So maybe it's not completely out of the question, but Hunden takes damage early. The trade's coming in, and there we go. Searson wins it. You can see, though, the players in towards mid both take damage from a massive nade. So even with the man advantage, it could be tricky, but Searson somehow gets that kill and a second one. How has that happened? Pleasant whiffed that frag, and it looks as though finally ATTAX will get their first T round, unless Boughton can do the impossible. I mean, there's a couple of players low on health, but just don't fight him one by one, and they should be good. Having said that, Boughton might take some one-on-one fights here. He does get the first, but there we go. The trade comes in, and ATTAX finally puts a stop to the madness.
Yeah, Bowen at least taking 1 more kill in the process, but their economy is actually not so amazing considering how many rounds they actually did win in a row. Even with alternate attacks losing, I believe it was 9 rounds in a row, they still actually managed to at least keep the damage fairly decent. So you see coming into this one, it's a bit of a weaker buy than perhaps Red Reserve would have liked. They do have a double up setup though, which is something that I wouldn't say is actually that viable on Cobblestone on the CT side. It's just the retakes can be so difficult, especially when you have these 2 ops. So let's see how successful they are going to be with these weapons, as early on Searson is holding extremely passively, waiting to see if anyone goes for this peek up towards B long, while the rest of his team just continue on with this default that we've seen throughout this entire half. And let's see if it's going to be successful this time for alternate attacks. It hasn't really been so much, is one thing we do have to mention. So let's see if they will be able to chain some rounds together finally. Tizian, not the start they would have wanted. Nade goes in, brings him down to 59 points of HP. But the only positive right now for alternate attacks is they actually have managed to creep 2 players up towards A long, and they can sandwich both of these CTs who are in the mid position. But as I say that, they just begin to fall back off. They will remain alive for the moment, but alternate attacks, they gain themselves the map control. And look at this by Hunden. He's managed to creep so aggressively forward. Got himself in towards Wood. But UMP though, he's going to be trying to find this kill for himself, it seems, as he's playing up close on the cannons. He's going to be able to find the first. Upgrades to an AK. One more player in behind the Wood who will eventually actually trade it. And Freddy Frog finds the lurker in towards drop room. Now it's a 4-on-3 in favor of Red Reserve.
And again, ATTAX stuck between the site. They haven't gained enough ground. You can see Relaxer is in towards mid. Just about gets the kill. And Searson, the one man left out in the open. The USP comes out. And Red Reserve now have got to be in a great position to close this map. ATTAX not going to have a full buy. They are going to go for the force though. Searson gets the 1 AK, but the rest of the team are only going for a few pistols. There we go. The UMP also invested. The utility is looking okay, but they haven't been winning even when they've had the full utility with the rifles. Maybe, though, they can now play with a little less fear. They can try and get up close. They can try and fully go for the push out to the site. Because it just feels like they're never fully committing to the push. After Hunden went down there, sure, the trade came in, but then there was never that decisive play made to go for the push to that site, and it just allowed the rotate to come in. Either way, here in this 27th round, we'll get to see what ATTAX have in mind, because currently they are just going to hold passively to start the round.
Yeah, and with this much utility, it looks like they will be heading into an execute, most likely, I would presume, if they were actually, since they purposely went out of the way to make sure that they have all these smokes and molotovs. So it looks like they may be making their way towards the B-bomb site. But when rotating in, we'll be able to at least lock down this window as the rest of the teammates in towards the B-bomb site. Also, they are just going to have the players for alternate attacks at the moment just stuck in towards the drop room, but they seem to have actually made the decision now to back it up towards the A-bomb site. And I presume they were kind of counting on Stefan there in the drop room to try and actually get some damage done and hold the rotates, but it doesn't work out. And because of that, Bolton, he has easy access there to come straight out connector, find himself 1 kill, gets himself a second, and Relaxa also with the up chimes in. So it's all on Tizian now, taken down to 25 HP early on, and he will eventually be the last man standing to be closed out quite easily by Bolton.
Yeah, and the buy's not going to be great here for ATTAX into what could be the last round of this first map. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors though over at Farmskins. They've got cool bonuses every day. You should go ahead and check them out. You can get some nice skins. They say they've got better drops than Gaben, so if you want to test that out, you can go check out Farmskins. And thanks to them for making this tournament possible. Either way, here we go into round 28, back into the game, because ATTAX have to get the win with very, very little here. It just feels like this game has slipped away from them. They're going to have to look forward, look past this, because remember, this was Red Reserve's map pick, but it's got to feel a little bit brutal, the fashion in which they've lost this game. Either way, let's not get ahead of ourselves. They haven't lost just yet, but the kills already coming in. Plesson finding the first, and the rifles will look to hold the site.
Yeah, and they should be successful in doing so. Bolton, easy kill there on towards Searson. 1 kill has actually been traded out and returned by alternate attacks, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as still with only pistols, it's going to be difficult for them to open up this bomb site. But there we go. UCFN, yeah, another headshot on towards Bolton. Upgrades his way towards the Desert Eagle, but in a 2-on-3, it's going to be difficult. The up in the hands of Stefan is the main thing we look towards now to try and bring this round back for alternate attacks, and he finds the opening kill onto DJL. Plesson on the bomb site right now just needs to try and stay alive for as long as possible and allow this flank by Freddy Frog to maybe try and get some impact, as he will be coming from behind. He's CFN right now, will be holding it, but he's not going to be able to find that kill. And that's the bomb that is dropped. So Stefan, 1-on-2, needs to try and get that bomb from the ramp, and he will be just taken down by Plesson. So Red Reserve with an amazing comeback, eventually take that first map 16-12, as we will now just send it back to the analyst desk.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, and seems like Red Reserve definitely good on their city side, not allowing alternates to even get, I mean, they got only 1 round on their T side, and amazing amazing performance from Twins especially, and of course all of the rest from Red Reserve. They get to win 16-12 on Cobble after they were down 11-4 at one point. Denny, looking how alternate started, I actually thought that that alternate got this cobblestone, and that when they switch to T side, they have Hunt, and they will go for that strategical style that he used to develop. And seems like there's nothing of that. Red Reserve says nope.
Well, yeah, as I said, alternate tech started really hard, 11-4 for them. So I thought, okay, this will be an easy game for a German team. But and in the first half, Red Reserve played, let's say, without any idea how to approach either A or B side. Once, a couple of times, they decided to go to A over A long from that stairs thing. How do you call that?
Matrix.
Matrix, yeah.
Matrix, yeah.
I want to say Texas for some reason, but I don't know why. So Matrix. I mean, alternate attacks really knew how they're gonna play, so they were already prepared. And 11-4 in the first half quite amazed me, but in the second half, both teams switched their playstyles. In the second half, alternate attacks didn't know how to approach either A or B side, had no idea, and Red Reserve deserved to win this game. So yeah, as I expected, 16-12.
Yeah, Hogar, do players actually feel demoralized after being 11-4 up on their city side and not even, I mean, getting only one round, but not even be able to threat Red Reserve at all to take the map?
And for sure, they're feeling very sad and down now, because even if when they won first round on the T round, they lost second one, so
yeah.
they were echoing after that. The thing I was mentioning before the match, the lower tier teams can play good on city side. It's not because city side is harder actually at the Counter-Strike, but the thing is the terrorists, the opponent team, they play structured CS. They have like they're basing their games on the structure, so they can play with the tactics, you know. But on the tier 2, tier 1 teams, they play with the infos. They react based on how City plays that particular round. So that's why these teams they always know how to approach that round in particular, because they're set up. For example, they always execute B side on the same way. They will use everything, the preparation for that execute in the same way. So they always knew how to approach how to set up defense. The thing is that when you start losing round after round after round, after you're being up 11-4, right? You start losing not motivation. You start losing ideas how to what to call next round. The basic thing is in-game leader start feeling very pressured. So if you don't have somebody in team who can give you some advice how to what to play next round, what basically most pro teams has, everybody agrees. Like everybody give each other advices. You become stuck and you cannot lead as you could if it's first half, for example.
Yeah, I noticed that alternate attacks wanted to go for that A round after round, and it didn't really work out. Maybe some change of a pace can help out. Maybe smoke, plateau, broken wall, flash over, try to put one guy towards short pits area.
That's the thing. You are scared to push.
Yeah. Basically, at that point, you think
you
you're
want
going
to play.
lose the duel.
So you want to play safe. You want to play like. Really
that allows Red Reserve, on the other hand, to get a lot of information, to pick, and they are already coming back, so confidence is back in Relaxa. We saw him pushing with AWP.
Pleasant was...
Pleasant played really good, Freddy Frog as well. So, yeah, that will be it for the first map of alternate attacks in Red Reserve. Red Reserve 1-0 up. Second map is Train, and it was picked by alternate attacks. We are going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll analyze Train. Welcome back to the studio, guys. You're watching Farmskins Championship Season 2, also a qualifier for IEM Katowice. We are watching match between Red Reserve and Alternate Attacks. Red Reserve managed to get the first map with a score of 16-12. The next map will be Terrain, and it was picked by Alternate. So definitely an interesting map coming our way, but would definitely want to see maybe Alternate Attacks swinging it back after demolarizing T-side. Hopefully, if they start on T-side, it's not going to be as good as it was on Cobble, but we'll see. We'll see. Definitely something to look up on. Hunden maybe need to address their players that it's a totally different map if they want to win this best of 3. Hogar, we watched Relaxa on Cobble. He had really good performance. We saw him flicking, doing all the crazy stuff with AWP towards A. Can his performance maybe influence their city side? Because we know that Train is, let's say, op-heavy map. You can do a lot of stuff with AWP if your AWP is on fire.
Yeah, the only thing that his team must keep in mind, he must rotate. I mean, he cannot play just one side, one position fixed. He must just rotate, be unpredictable, and just surprise them. He was pretty good with aim on the cable. He was pretty on point, and I think he can do again well.
Yeah, hopefully Relaxa continues with his performance. On the other side, Hunden had really okay-ish performance on Cobble. I saw him with 20 frags towards the end, if I'm not mistaken. So even though I think he's their in-game leader, he was in his previous teams. Maybe he isn't now, but we'll check. Definitely means a lot to have your in-game leader fragging as well, because that influences your team as well. He's confident when he's taking duels. He's not only thinking about whether to position you or whatever you're doing, he's also focusing on frags. Can maybe that be a problem a bit for Alternate, because he's on fire, he wants to get frags, but on the other hand, he maybe isn't calling as much as he would to if his players were performing.
Yeah, he can be a problem for Red Reserve, but the biggest problem for Red Reserve might be lack of performance from Freddy Frog or Pleasant. If that happens, they were just going nuts on Cobblestone. Pleasant winning that 1v5. I mean, he won an ace, but it was 1v4 after the bomb was being planted. So if that... we are going live.
Yeah, sorry, Danny, once again. We are going live. Our casters are ready as well, so Dean and Hawkeye, take it away.
Thank you guys as always, and welcome back to the stream, everyone. Of course, this is the second map of the series, as was discussed, and that knife round going in favor of Alternate Attacks will now allow them to maybe start off on that CT side, try and get a solid start to try and actually bring themselves back into this mentally after what was an amazing comeback by Red Reserve over on Cobblestone. So I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. It is once again myself and Hawkeye, of course, taking you through all the action.
Yeah, I think Train should be a map that Alternate Attacks get the win on in the end. I don't think they need to be too worried as long as they get a decent CT side together, because generally Hunden has pretty good executes for the T side. Again, he oftentimes takes it quite slowly. I think another thing to watch for as well is that sometimes Hunden likes to play aggressive on the A site, try and gather information, and then allow his teammates to find success from that. So that's something else to watch out for. I think Hunden could be quite an important player for Attacks here, but here we go, straight away the B-Rush comes in, and Tizian is going to get that first and the second kill. Really nicely done there to double down, and that's allowing the rotate to come in. They're going to have to concede the bomb plant, but with the kit, that shouldn't be a massive issue with a two-man lead.
Yeah, and also damage done heavily onto DJL, who at the moment is just going to be stuck back up in the halls, I believe, not really being able to assist his teammates too much. And Tizian there spots out that player on the default position. Botan also going to be playing up close, trying to help, but ECFN instead coming in from the side will be able to find one, as does Hunden. And DJL now the last man standing, 1 on 5, as mentioned, not working with the best HP. And he will be found by Sirison after only finding 1 kill for himself. So Alternate Attacks, nice play there, just going for that retake, doing a very good job at finding it also. And Red Reserve losing that pistol, but at least getting the bomb plant means that they will be most likely just going for the full eco into this one and looking to try and get the rifles out in the following.
Yeah, Yeah, that's certainly what I'd expect. I also wouldn't be surprised to just see them try and go for the B push again. Just try and get some sort of bomb plant together, especially if Tizian's going to be solo holding the site. That's a possibility. And he is, again, all alone towards B. That is a danger. If he got overwhelmed by the Glocks, you could risk losing a rifle before the rotate could come in. However, it looks as though we're not going to see the push come out. They're just having fun in the upper position, just chilling out there, having a good time on the T side of things. They're having a nice little shower, a team shower. It's good for bonding, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I guess after getting such a dirty comeback on the previous map, they want to wash themselves off. Like, so, yeah. But yeah, only with Glocks, there's not really too much they can do. I guess just trying to waste some time, run down as much as they can, and just approach this B-bomb site. And here we go. They're making their presence known. Plenty of steps have been made. Tizian throws down a nice smoke there to deny them for the moment, being able to actually get out that ramp, at least with some sort of vision. So they do begin to back off, and towards Pop Dog, where there is going to be another player awaiting ECFN. I'm not sure if they spotted him out, but it doesn't matter. Relaxa gets taken down. I believe he actually got stuck on the edge of the ladder there and couldn't really move properly. So opening an advantage in favour of alternate attacks, as you would expect. And I think at this point, not really anything's going to be found by Red Reserve. They've just taken this so slowly. All they have is Glocks. I would have liked to have seen them just bomb it towards this B-bomb site early on and try and get the bomb down. That would have been their best chance, in my opinion. But bomb plant's still a possibility. But with Hunden just tapping away, he will at least find one, gets the second eventually. And let's see if it's going to be denied now that bomb plant, as there is a player pushing towards upper. Tizian finds it, and ECFN on the flank also takes down Pleasant. So as expected, alternate attacks take that round with ease, and they barely receive any damage at all. They keep all 5 players alive. They still have quite a lot of utility left over, and after the investment, their economy looking pretty decent. So it looks like they're happy enough now with keeping over these weaker weapons, having just those 2 M4s to work with. And I presume it's likely that we will see perhaps an aggressive push coming in towards somewhere on the map by alternate attacks right now.
Yeah, that might be the case with, well, only the one SMG in play, but certainly still an option, especially with the nades in hand. You can see the AKs fully on the Red Reserve side of things, and they will just hold across the board. It's going to be Red Reserve double peeking Ivy there. That was quite nice. The first player crouching just to make sure they do sort of separate from each other and could get the trade quickly. We're going to see the push come in. Pleasant spots the man and gets the quick headshots. And after finding that opening frag, he decides not to overextend. He's more than happy to take the opening kill, back off, and force alternate attacks to make a play. It looks like they are somewhat doing that. ECFN has pushed into A main, so that is giving them some information, but still going to be a long way back for attacks with the first man lost.
Yeah, and luckily enough, that rifle has been retrieved, I believe, by Sirison, as he's upgraded it from that scout. But Red Reserve are going to be happy with that opening advantage. The only problem is they've lost quite a lot of map control in the process. All their players right now are grouped up just outside of A, and at the moment ECFN has a very aggressive push in. He's pushed up close with the UMP, but he could also get overwhelmed. I believe he also has a small bit of assistance from Hunden up on top of the blue train, but nice flash is being prepared by Pleasant. That goes in. It won't blind them up. He will at least be able to get some damage in, but he doesn't find a kill. And everywhere it will be Red Reserve just winning out those aim jewels. It's only one player now that remains for alternate attacks. Tizian as the last man standing. We'll be looking to try and come in on the flank from B, but being the last man alive, 1 on 5, he's probably just going to go ahead and save this M4 as alternate attacks. They do still have a pretty decent economy. They can buy up in this following round. As was mentioned, rather, they decided to keep over some of those weaker weapons and didn't actually go for the upgrade, so they do still have economy left in the bank. But yeah, Red Reserve, this is a perfect first gun round. They're able to get themselves into it with 5 players alive, most likely, and build themselves up a very solid economy.
And there we go, a fairly convincing round win. After getting the opening pick, you saw attacks wanted to go for aggression, which I think was the right response. It's just that Red Reserve dealt with that quite well in terms of finding the frag. And it looks as though Relaxa shouldn't spot the man out, although Tizian could actually be in trouble. They're going to try and hunt him down, and Relaxa goes for the push. There comes the trade, so they're not going to allow a single gun to be saved. That could make a slight impact on ATTAX's buy, but it will certainly still be a full investment for the CT side. Sirison will decide to go for the AWP. Even without the Kevlar, he is willing to take the risk. And up against the AKs, he could certainly make the difference. He's going to play out towards A to start things off. This time around, ATTAX having 2 players towards B, and they push straight through ramp. This is so much information for the CTs now.
Yeah, the map control right now that has been forfeited by Red Reserve is massive. It just allows them to basically have no option other than to go to this A bomb site. If they do make their way back towards B, they don't have any info about where the players are situated. And right now they have actually pushed very aggressively, as was mentioned. Early on, a bit of damage is going to be exchanged in favor of Red Reserve as Stefan, with that aggressive push, he was brought down to 74 HP, but it's nothing really too substantial. And Hunden, that's your teammate there. You really need to be careful. Goes in and shoots Tizian as he's coming down the ladder. It was a bit strange, to be honest, that Tizian had got himself into that position, so Hunden was probably just as confused as we were when they were allowed to just take that B control for free. But yeah, good position right now. They have a fourth player gambled onto A. They know it's going to be towards this side of the map, or at least have a very strong hunch that it will be in England. But yeah, here we go. Let's see what Red Reserve do finally decide to do, as they at least send a couple players back up through the B halls. They have some players looking to try and clear out this position, and it looks like they may just be making their way towards Pop Dog, as now the bomb actually going back towards B, and it's only going to be ECFN that's here to try and hold this. Has a Molotov and a flash to try and delay them, but if he's to lose this fight early on, it could be real trouble for alternate attacks. And there we go, he remains alive, spots out those players, gets some info for his team to work with, and then a rotate is going to begin to come in. But it seems like it may be happening once again the same for the terrorist side, as Red Reserve, it's pleasant to find that opening kill in towards the Pop Dog, and now it gets difficult. But Sirison with the op, he's still posted up on this angle. He finds the first. Stefan with that UMP won't be able to win the battle at long range against the AK, of course, as he gets taken down. And Hunden making the play, pushes straight forward. He finds one, but he won't be able to get the second. The spray, it's not on point like he would have hoped, but the op underneath the train. Sirison, he denies the bomb plant, and it is going to be the round in favor of alternate attacks.
You love to see that. You know what? I think it was Anders that pointed out that you can actually just see under that bomb train. You can kill the planter, and Hunden, yeah, Hunden making the play makes it happen. I'm sure if that comes back to Anders, he will love to see that. But there you go, the third round comes in. Oh yeah, definitely. Just for his sanity, just so that he knows that someone is using that. So he was very angry about it. But yeah, push coming out towards B, and again the similar push comes in. Trade's going back and forth, team damage in the mix, but it's Red Reserve who come out on top, getting the opening 2 kills, and Relaxer also extends the margin for victory. A 2-man lead, and a very, very fast-paced round ends in a matter of seconds, really, because Red Reserve will have this one in the bag.
Yeah, and that's a reset there onto the economy of alternate attacks. They don't really have much money left over in the bank at all. They will perhaps be able to save the off and the AK, but rather the M4, but even then, that's not going to be too easy. It depends on whether Red Reserve do decide to hunt, and I'm not sure if they will bother with it. They don't really themselves have a very strong economy. They can't afford to lose too many of these weapons, so ideally they want to try and start building up some bank after taking this round and not get reset themselves in the following. But I don't think alternate attacks are really going to have too much weaponry to work with other than these 2 weapons that they are able to carry over.
Yeah, the ult will be saved, but the rest of the team not really with that much to work with. To be fair, talking about that earlier round as well, you saw Hunden with the trigger discipline just all focused on denying the bomb plant. So clearly he had an idea of what he wanted to do. It worked out for them in that previous round, but then they just lose that 5th round very quickly with the B push, and now they have a weak buy. Searson with the AWP alongside Stefan's rifle, and they are going to put again 3 players out towards B to start the round. One of them being Searson with that AWP. That's somewhat surprising, especially as Hunden also is pushed in towards Pop Dog. The A site could be very, very exposed, but I guess with a buy like this, it might be worth taking some sort of risk to try and win the round. That's at least the rationale that ATTAX are clearly going for.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be. They have a lot of presence on B early on, though. And Ned goes down on towards Hunden and the Pop Dog, and he's going to be brought to 53 HP before he's even able to find any contact. So, not the start that alternate attacks perhaps would have wanted. Red Reserve, knowing they're up against a bit of a weaker buy other than mostly the weapons that were saved, they are actually playing this round extremely passively. And interestingly enough, they are going to be leaving 2 players over towards Ivy for the moment. One seems like he will begin to now regroup with the rest of his teammates who appear to be just making their way up through the B halls, and they might actually be heading directly towards this stack, which could get extremely dangerous. Tizian going to be peeking from upper, finds that opening kill onto Freddy Frog, and now he will just back off, as I believe some players towards the lower ramp also were spotted, and Hunden, the damage is going to be done, but he's not able to find the kill. Luckily enough, his teammates once again will step it up. This time it's Stefan to find 1, taps away, eventually finishes off Pleasant to get a second for himself. And now it's on DJL and Relaxa, who are actually being flanked out, and Relaxa with a great find takes down the first player. Now a 2-on-3 with HP not being so amazing for alternate attacks. This is winnable, but with Tizian being able to find the openings like that, it makes it even tougher. All onto Relaxa. 1-on-3, Has the op and low HP on these three players to find, but if he misses, it could get dangerous. And right now he is just looking to try and play around this brown train, try and waste some time. He finds the first, but it's not on the diffuser. So Stefan will be able to find that diffuse with ease. Unlucky, and a nice try by Relaxa as he at least takes one more kill in the process.
Ooh, and Stefan just about saves the AWP at the end of the round. So a bit of a back and forth affair in these recent rounds. And that could continue because Red Reserve will still have a buy. Relaxa going for the 1 Mac 10, so he can always run in first, try and get up close, try and get up in people's faces and run and gun. And the rest of the team will just have AKs. And again, Red Reserve, they want the quick B push. Tizian goes for the smoke. He doesn't have the molly, but the spray down only gets the 1 kill. If he has the incendiary there, that would have stopped them from getting to the site. But instead, Red Reserve push through the smoke. They get the even trade. And alternate attacks have to retake the B site, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, the B-bomb site is one of the harder sites to retake in this game. Just so many positions the terrorists can play for time from, and Plessen, nice aggressive push comes in as he takes down Hunden. And with a 3-on-4 now, this is not looking too good for alternate attack. Stefan trying to get what he can done as he finds at least 1 kill, but the bomb it is ticking away now. Diffuse kits are in play. Bolton playing up close is actually going to go ahead and lose a teammate, and he may be caught off guard by ECFN as alternate attacks with a perfect retake, and they will just about have time for this defuse. What a round they're coming by alternate attacks to be able to bring themselves into a 5-2 scoreline as Red Reserve, their economy not looking amazing. I think they will most likely be facing an eco now in the upcoming round.
Yeah, the one positive is even when you lose the bomb site that quickly, you do still have plenty of utility for the retake. But it didn't even really seem to be the utility making a massive difference. They were just able to take one-on-one fights and win them. And Red Reserve decided to sort of take those engagements. They didn't have to peek out, but they elected to do so, and it kind of costed them there. So now Red Reserve, despite gaining control of B in the previous round, decide it's not worthwhile going there this time. They're going to go out towards Ivy, but that smoke should slow things down, especially considering they only have the pistols. This will likely be a fairly convincing round for ATTAX. Though DJL, the one player out towards B, has forced them back. That nade there nearly landing, but not quite doing so. It's just going to be Red Reserve holding back at the start.
Yeah, and with only pistols, I don't know if there's really too much they can get done. Once again, just taking it very passively. I'd like to see them go for faster rounds, but I guess since they invested so heavily into Deagles, their main plan coming into this one is kind of just split up and hope that they can find some opening kills. And it's certainly a possibility. Stefan, as we can see right now towards Ivy, is facing quite aggressively, and he could perhaps get caught off guard with multiple players peek this together. But for now, he should be okay, as the CT has gone for a very passive setup overall. As you can see on the A-bomb site, the most aggressive player is actually ECFN, who's pushed up to the stop sign. And over on B also, they are looking to just play from the back lines, it seems. So they're aware that they're against only pistols, and they will be trying to actually capitalise on that. But that's a nice find there by Plessen. He drops Stefan, gives an opening out towards this A-bomb site, and Bolton also able to take down Sears, and it's getting dangerous now. ECFN finds one and needs to try and stay alive, but it will be all the kills going in favour of Red Reserve. Only 1 kill so far for alternate attacks as Tizian. His position is known, and he's left alone in a 1-on-4. And with no economy really in play for alternate attacks, I think he should probably just be saving his weapon, but it looks like he does want to go for it. At least for the moment, he will be still slowly inching his way forward up through the old bomb train position. And there we go. He has decided to now just begin to back off, maybe try and take 1 or 2 more kills in the process. But I don't think there's really too much that can be done.
Well then, the pistols do get the job done, surprisingly enough. Tizian will not be able to do anything about this one. Despite them having plenty of players on the A site holds, they just didn't get the kills they needed. They didn't really find the trade options, I guess you could say. And Tizian is just going to have to save what he can. You can see Red Reserve will also get to hold onto 3 guns for the next round. Relaxa stuck with a Deeg, but the round win was certainly very, very useful for them. You can already see here ATTAX not with the best of money. They may have to go for an eco, and it's Hunden here who's called for the tactical timeout to discuss exactly what they want to do. It's probably worth saving 1 round if they want to get a really strong buy together, because then Searson could get himself the AWP alongside what would be mostly rifles. And Tizian might still be able to do something into this round. So I think saving is probably the right option. But when you're on the CT side of train, it's never a good feeling to have to concede a few more rounds over to the T side when you know you should really be winning the half.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be too bothered with allowing Red Reserve to get themselves into a fort. They they had a similar kind of CT half over on Cobblestone. Of course, in the end, they did end up losing, but even after conceding 3 rounds in a row, going for the eco, getting themselves all them guns out, they were able to come back and get an 11-4 half. So I guess they just want to get the rifles out once again. Of course, on train, the ops can also be super important, but it seems like this round won't really be going at all in favor of alternate attacks. Instead, Red Reserve, they find all those opening kills. They find 3 towards the A bomb site. They open it up. Pleasant going to be able to find the last 2 with 2 crispy headshots as he takes down both Hunden and Sirison. But now it will be the buy coming back out for alternate attacks. But while we have a quick chance, I'm just going to go ahead and tell everyone to check out the sponsor of this tournament. Of course, it is Farmskins. Don't forget to go on over to farmskins.com, where they claim you can get better drops than does from Gaben. So go ahead and open yourself some nice cases. Try and get yourself some nice skins to work with. But we are going to get back into the action now. The op, as was mentioned, is going to come out into the hands of Sirison. On the other hand, it is going to be Relaxa also, who has that big green gun to work with. And it seems like we may see a change of pace. DJL just immediately out towards this A bomb site, creeping his way up through Olaf and now into behind that old green, that old hell position in behind Green Train, and he will actually be able to find 1 kill. He catches Hunden off guard, takes down 1 before eventually falling, and there we go. Pleasant, he finds Tizian getting aggressive on B up through the smoke as the sole defender of that B bomb site. That's a very strange push, but Red Reserve now control of the bomb site. Bomb is going to get planted, and this is going to be a difficult round now with no defuse kit for alternate attacks to try and claim for themselves.
Yeah, maybe Tizian getting a little bit antsy there, maybe a little bit nervous, going for the push, thinking he needs to get some information, and that really loses them the round, unless ATTAX can get this retake going, which looks like it's not going to happen, because Stefan is already going for the save, and ECFN also sticks around, so he will fall, only the 1 gun being saved, and Red Reserve will now build up a really strong economy. Saving 3 guns certainly will help out with that. They already have really good money in the bank as well, around $7,000 on average between their players. That's going to go up to a few players getting up to above 10k now. So Red Reserve winning 3 rounds in a row, but 3 convincing rounds that have allowed them to get into a strong position, whereas alternate attacks again are going to have to go for the save. If they're not careful, this could start to slip away from them. You can see as well, in these save rounds, they're not really being able to invest into anything in order to try and get a full buy. So that means that these sort of rounds, they never really do that much damage, which has allowed Red Reserve to build up so much cash.
Yeah, they've been able to build up a lot, but early on, it's a nice bit of damage, I was going to say, gone in favour of alternate attacks. Relaxer receives a dink, but it's going to be Botan once again to bring that back, working towards Ivy. He does find Stefan, who just overpeaks perhaps a small amount. Relaxa also holding for the aggression on Amen, will be able to take down Sirison. And that's Red Reserve now with a 2-man advantage, as they should be claiming the lead now, only up against pistols. This would have to be some miracle plays being pulled off by the alternate attacks players, as they do double peak Ivy at least. They look to try and play it together, but it is not going to work out, as it's all on the ECFN now, and his position is known. The only problem is Freddy Frog, he does have that bomb over towards Ivy, so let's see if they do just decide to take this fight together. They will allow for the flank to come in, but it doesn't matter. It's Botan that's able to find the final kill and claim Red Reserve that 6-5 lead.
Well, there we go. Red Reserve come right back into the game, although now they do have to deal with the 2 AWPs. Both Citizen and Stefan decide to go for that investment. Neither of them had a great spawn, though, so they can't really peek out towards upper or anything like that. They're just both going to play towards A, but you can see Red Reserve, well, not Red Reserve, but just Botan running straight out into Olaf. Could be in trouble if the nades were to come in towards him, but he will be fine for the time being. Again, ATTAX only leaving 1 player back towards B. That can be very risky. If Red Reserve continue to push B, then that could be a problem. We see ECFN try to make a play, and he gets shut down, as does Hunden. There comes the trade eventually from Searson with 1 of those AWPs. But now it's the 2 AWPs that have to try and hold the site. So if multiple players push in, they could be in real trouble on A.
Yeah, but it looks like for now, Red Reserve will be just slowing it down. They still have over a minute to work with. They have Botan out in this position over towards A, where he can perhaps try and cut off the rotates and take a kill, or at least just delay them for a while, as his teammates do look to try and group up towards this B bomb site. And it is just going to be Tizian now, the sole defender. But that's an important kill to be found by SDFN, or Stefan rather. He is able to take down 1, but over towards the B bomb site once again, Tizian, he falls without really putting up any sort of a any sort of a fight, he will be just taken down with ease. And now the players for the T side pushing aggressively into this after plant. They will find both kills. I was going to say that could be dangerous if he got caught off guard with that nade out, but it doesn't matter. DJL finds one, as does Plesson, and the op will be retrieved, even though it's not really needed considering the current economy that is available for Red Reserve. But yeah, alternate attacks once again just stuck on the full eco. They have full money bonus now to work with, so will we see at least some sort of investment that come in? But it seems like no, not really. Just pistols, and two of those players at least picking up some Kevlar.
Again, this is starting to get really out of hand as Relaxer shows the confidence that Red Reserve have, going for another peak. Just seems like a lot of the time ATTAX can't really get the kills they need. They're not really having the individual plays. And that is happening yet again here. Hunden will try and make a play as he goes up onto the blue train. And ooh, a quick dink, but it's not enough for the frag. You can see now Red Reserve being cautious. Relaxer gets dangerously close with the wall bang, but the push will come through instead towards Ivy. They can be a lot more confident that there aren't players here, as they spotted the players in A main earlier. The Relaxer holding the tight angle gets another easy frag. Just Hunden left. And Red Reserve, again, they're making it look easy, but they're doing a good job at making sure they do win these anti-ecos consistently and very, very considerably.
Oh yeah, they're working with bank easily for the rest of this half. If they had enough to carry the money over, if they somehow had the ability to carry the money over into the second half, rather, I'm sure they'd never have to eco, but sadly they can't do that, so all that money they have built up, it will be just thrown out the window after these final 2 rounds. But of course there is still a pretty decent chance for alternate attacks. If they can get themselves up to 7, they would still be moderately happy with that half, I would say, especially if they can then pick up the second pistol round. But coming into this one, they do have a bit of an adaptation. They have a double up setup, one on Stefan, one on Sirison. 2 players with the names that begin with S will be working with these ops, so let's see what they're going to be able to get done. I like this though from Sirison, a nice aggressive push in towards upper B. Only problem is a couple players will be waiting just around this corner, so the question is how aggressive does he actually decide to take this? Will he continue to push? If so, he could perhaps get caught off guard, but Tizian, he instead spots out that first player, gets some damage done at least, but he won't find the kill. And over towards A, Hunden just narrowly escaping that op shot there as he does manage to stay alive for the moment. And here we go, Tizian now. He has the opportunity to bait off of Sirison, find himself a kill, as does his teammate. And Hunden over towards A also, as well as Stefan. As finally, alternate attacks, they are going to be able to step it up, and they should be taking this round, as it is all onto Relaxa now in a 1-on-4, and with only 34 points of HP.
And again, a lot of these rounds seem to be playing out just based on who wins the opening fights far away from the bomb site. We're not really seeing Red Reserve line up full on executes, and I think that plays to their advantage more. They'll be very happy to just take one-on-one fights. So Relaxer just picks Tizian out of the air. Down to 12 HP though, so I don't think it will lead to a round loss. He's going to go for the smoke out. The bomb though is back behind him. He goes up the ladder. Both players miss their shots. Relaxer drops back down. Sisson looking for a wallbang, but with the bomb down, it doesn't really matter. The round should already be lost. I mean, in theory, Relaxer could just go for it at this point. They have money in the bank. And it looks like he will try and run forwards, but Stefan finishes him off, and it will get to win the round.
Yeah, he just wanted to try and get a couple kills out of that there if possible, because they don't have to worry at all about economy. They could have just thrown that op away and still had plenty of money in this one, so it wouldn't have really been a big deal. They could buy more ops if they wanted, throw them on the ground now, even just get 5 ops to PK main and then pick up rifles afterwards. So yeah, as we saw over in the previous series also, when it's the final round of the half and you have this money built up, you can kind of go for some very random plays. But into this one, and it's just going to be fairly standard by Red Reserve. They want to try and get themselves up to 9. We see Sirison early on going for an aggressive push on upper B, but he is going to get taken down. As now, seems like early on at least Red Reserve are happy enough with that damage and also the map control that they have been able to claim for themselves.
Not seeing too much happen early on, except for ECFN take an opening kill, and Hunden also pushes into A main. So again, it's just one-on-one fights going the way of ATTAX. Seems like that's pretty much how every round has played out. Whoever can win the first few one-on-one fights comes out on top. And this time around, it is ATTAX who get the first few frags, and Searson also chimes in with a kill. It's just kills across the board. As DJL, the one-man left, might get the one frag, but he takes a dink in the process. That should pretty much put an end to this half, as he is more than likely going to go down. And it should be ATTAX, at the very least, getting 7 rounds together on their CT side, which is okay. but they're still going to have a very impressive T side to pull off this map win.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is going to be still difficult for them to try and take this one back, even with winning this final half on the CT side. So DJL right now, it's not over quite yet. Of course, 9 HP. It is going to be very difficult, but certainly possible. You can never count out a player in these situations, but let's see what he can get done. Nice flash goes down at least. Will blind up Saracen, but it does not seem to matter. Even while fully blinded up, he will be able to find that final kill. As alternate attacks, they're able to bring it to at least just a 1-round difference as we do swap sides, and I don't think we're going to be waiting too long. We already see the players readying up. We will be getting straight into the second half to continue on with the action.
And it looks like that will be the case again at the half. On the alternate attack side, pretty even frag distribution. And to be honest, the same on Red Reserve, except for Pleasant standing out. And he did have that one clutch, to be fair. So that certainly contributed to quite a few of his kills. We will get to see the buys here for the second half pistol shortly. Be interested to see what attacks buy, because I think often they will go for a set of nades on a pistol round like this and go for some sort of play, whereas sometimes Red Reserve were willing to go for 5 sets of Kevlar. And there we go. Hunden does go for the molly and the smoke. Meantime, DJL with a smoke and a kit. It looks like attacks are leaning towards B to start the round. Hunden also has a Molotov. He's already thrown out that smoke, and they're just going to rush straight in towards B. Freddy Frog holding passively, trying to spot them out. And then decides to throw his Molotov early to cut off the rotate, and that's worked really well to allow them to lock the CTs out and get the bomb down.
Yeah, and also they're able to plant the bomb for the back lines, which is really good since they have so many players in this position. But Pleasant, doing his best to try and bring this back, will find 2 quick headshots, but losing more teammates in the process does make it difficult. Luckily enough, Relaxa is going to be able to also chime in with 1 to Glock of Hunden. Connects a small amount of damage as he looks to just try and stay alive for the moment. Tizian also trying to give him some help, taking this long-range battle with the Glock. That could be dangerous, but for now, Relaxa, he is going to be able to finally shut down Hunden. Tapping away also damage being done on towards Tizian, as he is going to be left alone on a 1-on-2, and the bomb actually is not planted for him. So that bomb plant ends up working against alternate attacks, and Red Reserve, they are able to claim an amazing retake there on the pistol round.
Yeah, really nicely done there. They had the smoke for the bomb at the end, but they didn't even really need it. As you were saying, the bomb wasn't quite planted in the right spot. And surprisingly enough here, attacks, I think, are going for the full force. This seemed like a very last-second decision. It was Tizian who initially brought up the Desert Eagle alongside the Kevlar. And then the rest of the team eventually followed suit. Doesn't look like the best of buys, though. After getting the bomb plant, you'd have thought they'd have been happy to get the gun round into the next. They're just going to have to try and see if they can win with mostly pistols here. They have got the nades for the execute over the top, and the Molotov also comes in to catch Boughton out. You can see the flash through the smoke means Relaxa should get a kill. The bomb is going down though, but Boughton pushes forwards for a couple of kills. That should pretty much put an end to this round, unless a kill can come in now, but it's not going to happen. ECFN, the only man left, will fall. A bomb plant for attacks, but again, a little bit of a strange decision to force.
Yeah, it just didn't work out at all. They were obviously actually opting on trying to win that round, and all they get is 1 kill and a bomb plant out of it, so not really ideal. Red Reserve now, of course, reaching double digits with a 3-round lead on what most people would consider to be the favourite side of this map. So alternate attacks facing yet another eco. This time, I don't think they'll be going for that wild force buy, but they may be able to at least upgrade a couple of pistols, give themselves some sort of firepower to work with, and as you can see, they do so onto a few players. We are going to see a couple of P250s, and also a Desert Eagle being brought out by ECFN. And it looks like we may see a fast play coming towards the B-bomb site, so the goal in this round, just get that bomb down, try and get 1 or 2 kills out of it if possible. And let's see what Freddy Frog is going to be able to get done, as on the other side of the smoke there is actually only 1 player, Hunden. He's the sole player down the lower ramp. He will be taken down, but the Deagle brings 1 back eventually coming out of upper, but Freddy Froggy remains alive, and he's doing all the damage right now. This is going to be the round eventually in favour of Red Reserve, but at least a bomb plant and 2 kills coming out for the German side. They will actually be pretty happy with that. They had basically no investment into that round.
I thought Freddy Frog was going to go aggressive to try to deny the bomb plants, but he lets it come through. So that means we'll see a similar buy for both sides. It should be a full buy for both the Ts and the CTs. We'll get to see if there are AWPs brought up. You would expect so, but Pleasant goes for a Mag 7. He had plenty of cash, so this is out of his own decision. I think that's because he had a really good spawn to go for a push, and he decides to do so over towards B. So that will allow the rest of his team to hold with the rifles on the A site. Pleasant has pushed forwards. The Mag 7 gets the first kill, but he's burning. Oh no, the smoke not quite in the right spot to extinguish the flames. And eventually the AK comes in for the trade. So just a 1-for-1. Not too bad for the Mag 7, but it did force a rotate from Freddy Frog.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that was really worth it there. Going into a 4-on-4 does tend to favour the terrorist side, as of course on the CT side you kind of have to split your defence up a bit thinner, and when you're on the terrorist side you can just regroup and try and take over one of those bomb sites, and most likely you're going to have a 4-on-2, maybe even a 4-on-1, depending on if a gamble does come in by the CT side. But right now it hasn't. It is just instead going to be Freddy Frog with the op towards B. He's able to open it up onto Hunden, and once again it is going to be Red Reserve being able to claim themselves that man advantage, as with just about a minute remaining, Alternate Attacks will begin to regroup towards this B bomb site. And the question is, will they be successful at making their way out? They do at least have utility to work with. They do still have that opera, of course, posted up on the back lines that they have to be cautious about. But I'd say most likely the Plantis should at least be coming in. The question is, can they do so without taking any more casualties?
It won't be easy to do so because Freddy Frog is still here with the AWP. In comes the nade, doing decent damage. And they're still not crossing to the site here, so Attacks taking their time. But there's no massive rotate from Red Reserve. The bomb will now go down. So Red Reserve are going to have to get into position, but they do have 2 defuse kits to work with. Although at the same time, Attacks still have 2 mollies to play with. That could make a massive difference here as the time starts to tick down. There is no smoke for Red Reserve. So if those Molotovs are well timed, that could spell an end to the round. But the kills are coming in. The mollies might not be deployed. It's back to a 2-on-2. ECFN stuck on the site, does get the headshot. And DJL has it all to do. He's going to spot the first man, but the molly should come in. That might just end the round. You can see fake defuse out. And DJL just doesn't have the time.
Yeah, really nice round there by ECFN, and Relaxa on that flank. It was looking like he was really going to be able to shut that down, but the timing towards the player on upper just did not work out at all. And as he just sprints down the ramp, he walks straight into the crosshair of ECFN. So finally, Alternate Attacks able to get their first round onto the board on this T side, but it is very costly. They only live with 1 player. Their economy not really going to be building up at all. They invest everything into this round and at least have a fairly solid buy. But Red Reserve, they're able to get out everything they want once again, including that up onto Relaxa. And let's see what it will be now for Alternate Attacks, as it seems like they may be going for a bit of a faster paced round, or at least looking to try and get this control towards Upper B early on, or at least, well, it seems like they're just at the moment going to be trying to back up the op of Sirison as he looks for this opening frag.
Now it seems likely the entirety of Attacks grouped up around B. You do see Hunden quite often call for these B takes on the T side. And they're quite elaborate with a lot of smokes over the top. And here we go, ECFN going to get the first kill. The AWP is in the back lines, but it's out in the open. So Relaxa only getting the 1 kill with the nade, but here comes Pleasant. 2 kills from behind. The peek comes in, but Hunden whiffs the kill horribly. That should have been a frag. Pleasant was caught with a nade in hand. And yet Hunden didn't even really do any damage. So now Tizian has it all to do, and he is over in towards CT spawn. That might be unexpected, but he still has to find 3 kills.
Yeah, and that's going to be really difficult to time. Not amazing, and currently the bomb actually down on that lower ramp, I believe it has been spotted also, of course, by the CT side. So they'll be looking to just try and shut this down, and Tizian really needs to get a move on, and he has so many positions to actually try and clear. He has to be cautious that there could be perhaps some players still rotating over from A. And as he makes his way into connector, I'm not quite sure what his plan is at the moment, and I think it may just be a save. He's not even trying to make his way towards this bomb anymore. Instead, his focus now is to just try and save this AK, and as I mentioned, winning that previous gun round with only a single player alive means that coming into this following round now, Alternate Attacks are going to have basically no money, and they may even be facing a double eco.
Yeah, their economy was already vulnerable, so losing this round pretty much puts an end to it. They do have the AWP save, though. That's what Tizian manages to upgrade to. We'll get to see the money on the rest of the team. It shouldn't really be anything, but with Tizian saving the AWP, it's kind of an awkward position. He doesn't get the money for losing the round, so he's only stuck with 150, but the rest of the team also has very, very limited cash, so they decide it's just worth going for the force. I think at this point that's probably the correct call, just because you're going to go 13, maybe 14-8 down before you can get a buy together, so they decide to take the risk, and Searson with the AWP is going to have to make a massive play unless one of the weaker weapons can also do the damage. You can already see Attacks looking to lean towards B, and Searson gets gifted an opening kill. With the rifle being dropped, there's potential here for Attacks as they go quickly out towards the B site. Searson's here with the AWP, and he does get a second kill. This is exactly what they needed. ATTAX get the B site, and this should be now a round for them.
Yeah, really nice shots there coming in as alternate attacks. They are going to be at least getting themselves a bit of a lifeline to work with. Important round for them to pick up.
Yeah, it looks as though Red Reserve are interested in looking for the retake. And in comes one kill for DJL, finding the headshot, but with the time having ticked down so far, and without a kit currently in hand, they decide it is time to save. So ATTAX keep themselves in contention with their 9th round on the board. And surprisingly enough, Red Reserve might not have a perfect buy into this upcoming round. So we'll have to wait and see what the buy looks like. Yeah, I can see their money. It doesn't look great. Even with these 2 saved guns, it will be a little bit weakened. I could put alternate attacks in the driver's seat. Their buy should be good. And Red Reserve might be at risk here. Even though they have the lead, they need to win a round sooner rather than later. The loser of this one will likely be down to an eco. So this 22nd round could be fairly pivotal. We're getting into the late stages of this second half now, and Relaxer does get that opening pick.
Yeah, but a very aggressive stance right now for Red Reserve. It is going to be difficult for them to actually try and retreat back, but they may be successful. And eventually Relaxer will be able to fall back off and stay alive. And there we go, Red Reserve once again been able to find that opening kill, looking to try and reset the economy of alternate attacks once again. And that would probably be a worst case scenario with this current scoreline. They don't really have that room to work with, but let's see what they do decide to go for. As with a 4-on-5 now, alternate attacks on the back foot. They will be for the moment just continuing to be very split up, basically as far away from each other as they could possibly be, but it seems like they may finally have a decision about where they want to take this, and we should be finding out quite soon as the bomb making its way back around towards A main, I believe, as also 2 players looking to try and get control of Pop Dog. It means we could potentially be seeing a split towards this A bomb site as Relaxer with the op pushed up very aggressively in towards Sandwich, I believe that is. He will be having players could just swarming out onto his position now any moment. Hunden, he will be the man that leads the charge, it seems, as the smoke also goes down towards Connector. But Botan, he has a great angle to see over the smoke. He has such a good position now to try and take at least 1 kill and stay alive, but the smoke may not actually be allowing him to spot these players. They pushed up close to the wall, they stayed in close so that they would be covered, and it's a good find so far by alternate attacks as SDFN and Hunden are able to find 1 each, and ECFN himself looking to try and get more done. But finally from heaven it will be Botan to chime in, and Red Reserve, all the frags go back in their favour out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, just a quick flurry of frags between the players, and that's all they needed to win the round. 4 kills in a matter of seconds, and ATTAX now are the ones with just pistols again. They managed to win a somewhat similar round previously, but that was with Searson having the AWP, and that was the main reason they won the round. He got the 2 entries out towards B. We are going to see ATTAX try and lean towards that B site yet again, but this time around, Red Reserve do have both Freddy Frog and Pleasant looking to lock down that site. So it might be a bit more difficult to gain ground towards B, especially with Boughton now also leaning and gambling towards that B site. A good read here for Red Reserve.
Yeah, but there is utility, of course, to work with, so they will be trying to bind up those players, use the Molotovs well. If Stefan's able to hit a shot like that, that certainly gives them a chance to open up this bomb site, and he may find a second, but he whiffs just a small amount. Will eventually find that second for himself, and Pleasant now on low HP will get taken down also. Stefan with 3 kills, at least so far into this round, as right now it's looking pretty decent for the German side. They have a 3-on-2. There's a player flanking into Connector who may be able to catch DJL off guard, and actually he will be able to at least have the surprise element, but he's yet to take a kill from it. Instead, DJL finds himself a kill onto Stefan, and there we go. It is just going to be Searson now actually trying to wrap it all the way back around to try and give his teammates some support. And Tizian on the bomb site, he needs to try and remain alive, but through the smoke, Relaxa hits the shot. And now it's all onto Searson. 1-on-2. Bomb, it is beginning to tick away. There is the fuse kits available, and the HP not looking amazing on either of these players, but they are going to be able to win it out as DJL takes himself yet another. And now it's going to be a 14-9 scoreline.
Yeah, despite Stefan getting the opening 3 kills, just not enough for alternate attacks. Red Reserve still had the superior weaponry. And now, with the 14-9 deficit, Hunden decides it is time for another tactical timeout. You can see their money is borderline as to whether or not they want to save one and then just try and get gun rounds. But I think at this point, being 5 rounds behind, it might just be worth going for the force. Especially on the T side, I don't think you can really play to win 6 rounds in a row to get overtime. That feels like something that's just going to be too difficult to pull off. So I think I'd just prefer the Force at this point if you're playing for the win. But there are certainly merits to just going for a half investment as well. They could probably buy pistols and still get a buy into the next round. So it's kind of tough, especially because you could break Red Reserve's money with a win. So I think the Force buy is probably the right call.
Yeah, I'd say so, because they want to try and get themselves back into this now. I don't see them being able to win 6 rounds in a row on the T side from how they've performed so far. So I think their best chance right now is knowing that the economy of Red Reserve hasn't really built up too strong. Just try and break it, get themselves maybe a free round and the one following. And if they pick up the gun round after that, it could be extremely close. So yeah, going for the investment now. They are going to get at least one rifle out of this one. That's Stefan, who's going to be able to utilize that big weapon, as he will be the only real one with firepower. But then again, Tizian, he has a deagle, and of course that weapon is nothing to be forgotten about either, as he finds the aggressive push by Freddy Frog, who I'd have to say perhaps made a bit of a mistake going so aggressive up B, and so early on they didn't even really give themselves a chance to find out if it was a buy or not by alternate attacks. But here we go, 5-on-4 now in favour of the German side, and it looks like they will be making their way towards this A bomb site. Relax it out with the op. He opens it up, takes down Stefan. ECFN going to be eventually able to trade that one as he just looks to try and stick this bomb plant instantly. But once again, Botan from heaven, he's getting the work done as he takes down both Tizian and Hunden. And now a 3-on-2 as Sirison and ECFN look to try and clutch this one out, and it's not with the best weaponry.
Not looking too good for them. They do have ECFN still in a smoke on the site. So if he goes down, that might just put an end to it. ECFN tries to make the play, and he does get that quick headshot. Searson, though, is going to be caught, so it's all up to the one man, and they know where he is. Bomb, though, is planted for him as he goes out again. ECFN gets all 4 kills. Headshots coming in with the ump, and he just about bails them out. How does he win that, though? Kill after kill go his way. And it's Red Reserve now on the back foot. It's been a very back and forth second half. Let's see if alternate attacks can make sure they don't lose to pistols this time around.
Yeah, it's now Red Reserve with no real economy into this one, so they will be going for an eco. Interestingly enough, Plessen goes for the full investment. He was, I believe, facing a double eco, so I guess he just wanted to go ahead and purchase up fully into this one, but it's not really going to work out. Taken down almost instantly by Tizian over towards Pop Dog, meaning that it will be now a 5-on-4 in favour of alternate attacks, and with a heavy firepower advantage also. Red Reserve, it's not looking great into this round currently.
Oh.
Okay
what?
then. Whoa, what's happening right here? DJL finds
what?
one. Botan also able to take down Sirison, and now it's all on to Stefan. And he actually has also received quite a lot of damage in the process.
Did Freddy Frog get 2 kills with the same bullet there? Like, that's what it looks like. I think it was a wallbang. I don't know how that happens when they're on top of each other, but either way, Stefan is the one man left. He has the B site. This will be a pretty grim way to lose. Well, not lose, but not be able to win in overtime. It's Stefan who has to clutch with 26 HP, and he throws the Molotov out, maybe a little prematurely. The opponents don't have defuse kits currently in their hands. Would have been nice to use the Molotov for the bomb at the end, but Botan does have the smoke, so that would not have worked. Stefan in the back lines, catches the first in the back. Freddy Frog, though, only needs 1 shot, but Stefan gets the headshot incredibly quickly, and they keep on going. ATTAX, they're struggling a little, but they're just about closing these rounds.
Yeah, but that was still amazing damage that came in there by Red Reserve. As you can see now going into this round, they are going to be working with at least a couple of weaker weapons over on the alternate attack side. You can see a Galil and a UMP in play. While Red Reserve themselves, Plessen, the only one who's not able to afford fully Relaxy, even gets the op. And let's see what alternate attacks decide to go for right now. Fast down Pop Dog once again, Tizian. We saw him find the opening in the previous round, but not this time. Relaxy with the op just posted up on that position will be able to drop Tizian and give that one-man advantage now in favour of the Swedish side. And actually, that spam there was dangerously close. Botan just about missing the heads of those opponents. And let's see where alternate attacks are going to take this, as currently they do look to favour towards the B-bomb site. But for the moment, they will be slowed down by utility. And Red Reserve, they seem to have a bit of a raid on this one. They have 3 players ready to try and hold this down, as now the attack will finally come in. Nice opening frags found, though, as it is going to be both Sirison and Stefan rather to find those. And Hunden, he may be able to get this done also towards upper, as he eventually finds that trade. Freddy Frog at least finding 1 kill before falling gives a chance now for his 2 teammates on this retake, but it's not going to be easy, especially with Plessen on that flank already being spotted out. And DJL, he was actually successfully able to find that kill against Hunden, so 2-on-2. And utility is still remaining, but it has now been thrown out. And Stefan, important headshot to be found onto DJL, all onto Pleasant in a 1-on-2, and he will be found.
Well, again, Red Reserve, they get the man advantage, but they cannot close it out. ATTAX managed to overwhelm the B bomb site. And now it's Red Reserve who only have to go with pistols. A couple of players upgrading, but it's not looking good for them in this round. They're going to have to focus on round 28. Stefan going to come out. There's the first kill. The CZ does get a long-range dink, but it's not enough to follow up with the frag. So Stefan survives on 13 HP, and they will look to come out towards A, and that's going to work well. Hunden sidelines Boughton. Just Relaxer left to push through Ivy. Not too much to be said. Red Reserve are just going to be focusing on the upcoming gun rounds. I think they might be able to get themselves an AWP, but it will be a little bit borderline. So it's still yet to be seen exactly what the buy will entail into round 28.
Well, they will be getting actually a decent amount of economy. Losing 4 rounds in a row means $2,900 will be available on top of what they currently have, rather. So it should be a fairly solid buy coming out. They should be able to afford the up or ups if they wish to go for the double up setup, because of course Train, one of those maps where they can have quite a lot of presence. You can put 2 even towards A, you can put 1 towards B, playing a bit more passively and allowing just for the retake to be set up. But that can also be quite a big risk because the ops can be quite difficult to retake with. But here we go, Alternate ATTAX getting themselves this round, doing so with all 5 players alive. And Relaxer, I think he was probably just looking to try and retrieve himself one of those weapons, but no one tried to hunt him down. And we see finally a tactical pause is going to come in from Red Reserve, and it's probably at the best time right now. They needed to call that one. They need to focus on this gun round that's coming up. If not, Alternate ATTAX taking this following gun round means the economy of Red Reserve once again would be broken, and we'd likely be looking at Alternate ATTAX reaching map point before the guns come back over Red Reserve.
Wow, Alternate ATTAX have had to rely on some massive plays to even get to this point. Red Reserve, I mean, they can just now sort of put things into context and realize they still have the lead and they still have every chance to close this out on their CT side. In terms of their buy, though, if Relaxer wants the AWP, he won't get the Kevlar. No one could go for an AWP and afford that armor. So I'm only expecting 1 AWP to come out, to be perfectly honest, and we already see the buys slowly but surely coming through. The utility should be okay on the team. I think the main question mark is whether that AWP will be bought, and I'm pretty sure it will. So we're likely to just see a fairly standard buy into this all-important 28th round. And we'll get to see as well what ATTAX have been talking about in this time, because they have all the nades they could want and can go for any kind of play into this round. And Relaxer buys Kevlar, so no AWP for Red Reserve into round 28.
It is still a possibility for Freddy
Yeah,
Frog to pick it up. He is a player who does it quite often. After all, he is the twin of Relaxer, so perhaps Steele was correct when he said it's in the genes, but it doesn't seem likely, as instead they just want to go for that 5-rifle setup. Possibly, maybe they have a plan coming into this one, some sort of aggressive push early on to find that opening kill, but then again, even with those opening kills in the previous rounds, we've still seen it kind of unravel, and Alternate ATTAX just with good calls, good plays, been able to bring it back, and let's see if that's going to continue on, or will Red Reserve finally be able to pick themselves up another round on the CT side, because right now this is looking a little bit desperate. 4 rounds in a row for Alternate ATTAX. They've built themselves up some decent bank, and there's not really room for Red Reserve to work with if they're to lose this round. Then they'll be at most looking to try and go for overtime, I would presume.
That certainly seems likely. It looks like we're having a little bit of a longer pause because one of the ATTAX players decided to go to the toilet, as you do. Just go off on the tactical pause, why not? I know. It's very rude.
Can a man not control his bladder?
No, I mean, I guess if it goes to overtime, then he's got a point. I was going to say there's probably only a few rounds left.
I would have done the same, to be honest, if I needed to go toilet. It can really affect you when you're playing, and it's probably like, I can't focus, guys, need to go to the bathroom, call a tactical pause, we'll use this anyway to talk, and then, yeah, we'll be ready to go, but this is going to be a very crucial round, as has been mentioned before, so I'm looking forward to getting back into this action. I'm looking forward to see whether we will see Alternate ATTAX forcing on towards the final map of the series, or will Red Reserve be able to close this one out, as this isn't even closer game than the previous one we saw. I believe it was 16-12 in favour of Red Reserve, so this one looking like it will be closer, and overtime still looking extremely possible. But yeah, for now the pause yet to be removed, and just one from Alternate ATTAX apparently it is, that was at the toilet, and he has returned as now the pause has been called off, and we will be immediately resuming into this action. And as we mentioned, no op for Red Reserve, so let's see what way they approach this round.
was quite a long toilet break. I'm pretty sure he washed his hands, so we are all good to get back underway. And as we were saying, no AWP or Red Reserve, but alternate attacks might be going out towards A very early on. We haven't seen them go for this fast of a play, and Hunden spots the aggression to get that opening kill. The push will now come forwards as Pleasant is out in the open. He could be in trouble. Indeed, he does go down. Alternate attacks getting the trade in their favor as Hunden gets a second entry. Finally, he falls. But the damage is done as the bomb goes down.
Yeah, Freddy, Frog, and Botan now are going to be left in a 2-on-3, and it's so important right now for them to pick this round up, unless they just want to go for the save, which is also certainly a possibility, but no, not anymore. Sirison takes down one. Freddy Frog is going to be the last man standing, and he probably will also still just look to save this one, but if they had been able to save with those two players coming into this following round, they would have been able to drop two M4s over, and they would have actually had a very solid buy, but with only Freddy Frog remaining alive, they are definitely going to struggle in this upcoming round.
Well, the one gun will be saved, but as you were saying, it shouldn't really be the best of buys. And it puts Red Reserve in a tough position because they either have to play for overtime or go for the full force, and the force buy would not be all that great. So it comes down to this. Again, we are guaranteed a 30th round here. The question is, which way will this 29th round go? Who will have the chance to close it out in overtime? It's going to be Red Reserve, as we were expecting, I think. Not really going for the full investment, because they still have a chance to win with these pistols and the one rifle. But they do want to make sure they get a full gun round before losing out entirely. So they do decide to go for the save, and maybe still a chance with the pistols. They're pushing out through Ivy, so that will be some information gains. Not sure if they will rotate back in time, though.
Yeah, like this, they actually go for a play with the pistols rather than just sitting back and waiting to see what happens, but for the moment, they don't find anyone, but they do at least have some info that there's no one over towards IV. But the only problem is they've gone for a bit of a gamble towards B. They've stacked up 3 players over towards this side of the map. Once Botan gets some presence towards A main, it should be called that they will be coming towards A, but he's going to have a difficult time trying to stay alive. And as you can see, Sirison with the up finds that kill almost instantly. And now this flank from DJL, I think it's going to be too late to really get too much done. The bomb should be getting planted with ease as the connector has been smoked off. You see Relaxer trying to come in from the back lines, and just none yet to be found by the CT side. And Sirison, he's going to once again shut down a player with that up. DJL falls, and so do the chances of the CTs actually being able to take this round for themselves, and they just continue to diminish. As Stefan it is this time to spam through the smoke and take one kill and also some damage onto Relaxa.
Oh, and Stefan taps off another head. Relaxer will fall, and Freddy Frog will just have to save. So it is alternate attacks. We were saying earlier, it's unlikely they'll be able to win 6 rounds in a row on their T side. Well, they have done just that to bring themselves back into the lead. And they are the ones that have the chance to close it out in regulation. As you remember, though, Red Reserve, they saved for this round. So they will just be focused on bringing us to overtime, which is still very much on the cards. As we finally get an AWP back into Relaxer's hands. It's a double AWP setup. DJL being the secondary AWPer for Red Reserve. And here we go, round 30. It all comes down to this. Either alternate attacks will take us to a 3rd map, or Red Reserve will keep us on train for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and it looks like alternate attacks are going for a fast-paced round right now, and it's only going to be one player on this B-bomb site to try and hold it down. Freddy Frog, he is one of the stars of this lineup, but with so many players coming in his direction, will he be able to get it done? Has some support also now from Botan, who has begun to rotate over to make sure that this B-bomb site won't be overwhelmed, but for now, alternate attacks, they are biding their time. Utility finally going to be thrown out. As you mentioned, Hunden does love these executes on towards the B-bomb site, and it starts off successfully once again. Freddy Frog able to find at least one kill, spamming through the smoke, getting damage done as he also takes Hunden. But there's 2 players now peeking this position, and he will eventually be traded out as we're now in a 3-on-3. Yet to be planted. It has been retrieved, and it should be getting put down any moment rather. But it's once again a player for the T side pushed up so aggressively that could get the damage done. But Pleasant, he finds a crucial kill onto Tizian. 3-on-2 now, as it's looking like Red Reserve may be able to get this retake, but Sirison, he wants to have something to say against that. He's going to be able to find one more. DJL with the trade once again, and now it's all onto ECFN. He's going to be pushed back towards the connector. The bomb not planted for his position, I don't believe, as he's actually playing this extremely smart, just following up behind, and he finds both kills. ECFN, what a play, as he becomes a complete ninja to win that one for his team. So alternate attacks picking up this 2nd map, and we will be heading towards the 3rd. So back to the analyst desk for now.
ECFN, really nice play towards the end to win that map for Alternate Attacks, 16-14 in their favor. So they are the ones that are coming back now on train after it was the case on Cobble. Red Reserve coming back after being down 11-4. A really nice comeback from Alternate Attacks. Actually did not expect this one coming, but congrats to them. They are now one map away from being in that final of Group C. So, Hogar, you as a player that played a lot of tournaments, seems like momentum is a big deal in CS, especially between these Tier 3, Tier 4 teams, when they have no experience or little to no experience. You can basically see that coming into play on train. Alternate Attacks swinging a couple of rounds, important rounds in a row, clutches as well. 1v2, two 1v2s if I'm not mistaken, 2v4s. So a lot of things going.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, going on the way of Alternate. Yeah. So. What do you think? What happened with Red Reserve on City half after being up 14-9, if I'm not mistaken, at one point? So
they had some misplays. They were letting so easy on B side. They were, I think, Freddy one round pushed. They didn't know will Red Reserve buy or not. Sorry, Alternate Attacks will buy or not, and he pushed B and he died. He saw actually first guy. He was shoulder picking. And he knew he saw him back, so he shouldn't actually run towards him, and he tried again to kill him, and he lost his gun. So that round maybe decided the match. The other thing is, Alternate Attacks could easily win this match away a lot earlier than this, because Searson has some misplays. They had, I think, a 2-on-2 situation, actually 3-on-2 situation planted on B side, and they were eco that round. And he was going behind them from Z, from connector, and he saw one guy, and I don't know why he didn't shoot him. He started shooting guy on the second ramp, and he died, and they didn't manage to win that round. So there was a couple of misplays, but fortunately for them, they won.
Yeah, overall they had okay-ish City side, 8 rounds coming their way, but when they switched to T, it was all Red Reserve until one point, and then Alternate Attacks coming into play, managing to win the whole map. Then when you take a look at all players from Alternate Attacks, basically every single one stepping up, clutching important rounds when they were, if they lost, let's say, etc. one round at that 14-11, they would be reset for 15th round. That will give Red Reserve definitely easy win, but they managed to clutch 2 1v2s, 2 2v4s. So what do you think? What went good on the side of Alternate Attacks? Is it only the clutches, or maybe better calls coming from Handen?
Definitely clutches, better calls, and mistakes from Freddy Frog. I mean, that was just something. I mean, that was, how shall I say, that's the most crucial round in the game. You were leading 13 or 14-8, and maybe Freddy Frog didn't know if they were going to force buy. He pushed towards B upper. And I still don't understand why, you know. And he died. And at one point, I saw enemy economy. And if they lost their force buy, they will have to go double eco next 2 rounds. And that's like an easy win for Red Reserve. And since then, just everything fell apart. And I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, Alternate Attacks deserve to win, but still Red Reserve had this in their hands.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree. I think Red Reserve, this map kind of slipped off hands of Red Reserve. They could have closed it out much earlier. They had misplaced a bit of a miscommunication when it comes to retaking sites and so on. And ECFN, at the end, we saw what can happen. Basically, player coming from connector didn't really check his angle. ECFN played that really well. Waiting for the other player to see where the other player is, and when they line up exactly for you, it's really easy to clutch that one out. But yeah, that will be it in terms of terrain. Next map we'll be watching is Mirage, and we are not going for a commercial break this time around. So we'll go straight into the third map. And we saw Mirage,
Every time.
Every single time except the last game we watched. So it's... Mirage is Mirage. It's not like we can be surprised by something, some execute or some sneaky plays. It's always standard when it comes to that. But who however, do you think has more firepower and more chances to win on Mirage? Basically, Red Reserve now coming out of loss, and it was their map. The same case it was on Cobble.
The alternate attacks, I didn't mention, Handan and Stefan really woke up on the train. Stefan was hitting his shots with the Deagle pretty good. He was pretty good. But Searson is their oper, and he's really not connecting his shots. He's missing like really easy shots that should everybody, from 10 to 10 times you need to hit those shots. And he really has some misplays. I think he's not focused. I don't know why. But on the other side, Relaxa, he's playing pretty good with op. So I think I'm giving advantage to the Red Reserve only because of op.
Basically that LWP can shut down that middle alone if he plays it correctly together with his teammates. But Danny, looking at that alternate ATTAX coming back from 14 to 8 deficit, bringing it back all over to winning train 16 to 14, coming with the momentum. And now on Mirage, do they have an edge?
Yeah, they do have an edge, but Red Reserve really needs to fix their mistakes they did on train, especially Freddy Frog with that performance. That was just really questionable. But Freddy Frog really played really good on Cobblestone. He was top fragging. Didn't have a great game on train, but Pleasant was really consistent on both maps. And if he continues to play like this, Red Reserve shouldn't be having any problem to close this matchup down.
Yeah, hopefully they can, because they were...
they shouldn't be upset because they lost after a huge comeback by alternate ATTAX. Mirage...
I think they should be upset because they made crucial mistakes when it comes to their city side.
Yeah, but they just need to sit down and talk about it because they had such a great game on Cobblestone. So if they continue to play like...
Do they have time to talk about it?
They really need to talk about it. It doesn't matter.
You can't solve those problems in 10 minutes.
No.
It's not how it goes.
You just have to try.
It's not how it goes. Basically, if they can probably just focus on Mirage, not talk about train, because that will just bring back
bad memories.
Bad memories, exactly, exactly. So we'll see who wins the knife round. I would suggest Red Reserve to start on T side. I think they've been doing pretty well on T. Every single player, even though Relaxa wasn't opening that much on T side, if I remember correctly on train, he was still opening sites. With Deagle, I saw him in IV opening 2 players with Deagle, 2 headshots, and that was a huge misplay by alternate. I wanted to mention that, I wanted to record actually that round, but forgot about it. That's probably one of the worst rounds from cities I've ever seen in the competitive CS.
Sorry for interrupting. We forgot to mention one, maybe most actually crucial round, when the Red Reserve was CT and the Rico, and Freddy got 2 kills with Deagle and 2 USPs.
2 USPs on Ivy.
Yeah, and Stefan was left alone with one with 2. Yeah, one with 2, and he managed to clutch.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. Basically, one player surviving, and they are clutching it out, and that's good for Red Reserve, because if they win the next round, then alternate ATTAX is reset. They don't have money for final round, but it wasn't the case. Every single time it came down to clutches, alternate ATTAX stepping it up and winning the clutch. But yeah, so we are going soon to start, if I'm not mistaken, Mirage's turn map, as we pointed out. One player from Alternate Attacks has PC problems, so hopefully he solves that pretty soon, so we don't die here in these chairs. I'm kidding. So guys, I mean, we covered pretty much everything. Nothing you can say. I mean, if you want something to say about Mirage, go for it. But what can we say about this duel? We saw everything. One team messing it up on City side, second team coming back. That was first story of Cobbles, second story as well. Yeah, messing it up on City side. One team managing to come back to win it 16-14, and hopefully Mirage goes the same way. So we see some interesting shots. I mean, we saw interesting frags from both of these teams on train. It all came down to those clutches. Again, I'm repeating myself like a broken record, but. Yeah, those clutches and the individual plays.
I think who makes less mistakes.
Yeah, less mistakes.
Yeah.
They will win. Probably it goes that way. But we are soon ready to go live in like about 60 seconds. So predictions.
Predictions. You go first.
No.
Oh man.
Oh, Gypsy.
This was great.
All right, I'll go. Red Reserves wins. Reserve wins on Mirage 16-12.
Red Reserve 16-12.
16-5 to Red Reserve.
16-5.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the score I will beat you in FIFA with. We are ready to.
if I get like 5 goals, I'll be so happy, man.
We are ready to go live with our casters, Dean and Hoka. So guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Rema. Some high-scoring FIFA games going on over in the studio, but we are here for Counter-Strike. Again, ATTAX up against Red Reserve in our third and final map of this series, but there's still another best of 3 to be played after this one. And heading into Mirage, I think it is quite interesting. I think both teams are pretty good on this map, but I still feel like Red Reserve should have the talent to close this out. But as the Des was saying, there were certainly mistakes made by both teams back on train.
Oh yeah, it was by no means the most clean game of CS you're ever going to see, but I feel like a lot of the times those big mistakes are what allow the players to come out from players and actually make it very interesting in terms of even individual plays that are being shown by both sides. So I think that's usually what makes the game super interesting to watch if you're kind of into those hectic styles of CS. But yeah, of course, going into this one, both teams probably want to minimize those mistakes. And after all, it is a game of whichever team can make the least mistakes. So let's see which way this is going to go. Right now, we are not live into the 9th round. Both teams, I presume, would want to start over on that CT side, especially considering the recent performances we've seen from both on the terrorist side. It hasn't been amazing, but then again, Alternate Attacks, they haven't been looking so bad on the T side, but it seems like with winning this 9th round, let's see where they actually decide to take this. I presume CT side. I presume they will be switching, but who knows, maybe they want to try and control the pace themselves early on.
Ooh. Okay, no, they do switch. Never mind. I thought for a second they were staying, but yeah, they do decide to switch. I think someone on the analysis desk was saying they'd have liked Red Reserve to potentially start T side because they've been doing pretty well on their T side, but not going to happen. So Red Reserve will have to get off to a strong start. We will see the game go live shortly. We'll also get to see what Hunden has in mind for Mirage, because I haven't seen ATTAX play Mirage too often, but I know they certainly are willing to play this map. It's just the way it's worked that I haven't seen them play it. So I'll be interested to see what he brings to the table in terms of his leading, as always. But here we go. We are going to head live into the game. Red Reserve starting CT side, and ATTAX on their T side. You can certainly go for A plays if you want to buy nades, and with 2 sets of utility, that might be the option that ATTAX go for.
Yeah, certainly. And right now, it looks like they will be just bringing it over towards the B apartments, but with one player in towards ramp, and that is Tizian, I believe. He's not actually going to have any utility. Instead, just the Deagle. A split towards the say bomb site is still a possibility. And right now, actually, Red Reserve taking a bit of a gamble. 3 players over towards A, make that 2, as Tizian just completely eliminates DJL from the server. Didn't have any success there, as he just got completely destroyed the second that player peeked out. So early on, Alternate Attacks taking themselves a nice advantage. Still have all that utility to work with, of course. So let's see where they do eventually decide to take that one. And with the 1-man advantage, it looks like they're happy enough with that. They will now just begin to regroup over towards A, send 2 players through underpass. And it looks like they are just going to try and sandwich these players in on the A bomb site, coming up Connector, coming out Palace, and, well, actually, mostly it seems like it will be Ramp. Instead, it's Palace that's been taken over by Red Reserve. Relax it in a decent position, perhaps, to try and get something done. But, of course, Botan also, he's going to have to try and get a couple kills out of this one. Playing the off angle on site, rather. It is a pretty good position, but Freddy Frog dropped early on. Plessin trying to bring it back. We'll find one. Tapping away. He does have support from Botan, who's also able to take down Tizian, and now it's up to the two players coming through Connector to try and get this kill onto Plessin, which they will eventually, as now Botan and Relax are the last two players standing. And Relax is still in Palace. He has to try and give his teammates some support. For Botan, he is getting some damage done, even with low HP. He is down to 4 HP now. One more bullet from ECFN will eventually finish him off. But it will be Relaxer from Palace. They didn't know his position. He's able to find one kill. As now it's all on to ECFN to try and clutch this one out. He has the USP retrieved. Relaxer just playing with his opponent, just trying to work around the boxes. But eventually ECFN hits the headshot. And alternate attacks end up finding that pistol round.
Yeah, very extended round. Fights taking quite a while to close themselves out. However, eventually, attacks on the A site do take the round win. After getting that opening pick, thanks to, as you were saying, Tizian with the Desert Eagle, that made things a lot easier. So heading into round 2, we are going to see Red Reserve stack towards B. A couple of players going to go towards short and look towards mid. Although Relaxer isn't going to get any real damage done. Although I guess Searson is down to 60 HP, so that's better than nothing. ATTAX, though, will hold on to the mid presence early. You can see Boughton on the A site. He is just trying to hold with the scout. It's going to be very difficult to get a headshot with that, but if he gets the tag, he does have the nade, which could follow up if it's well placed. So that might be something to watch for. But for the time being, just ATTAX going for the mid presence.
Yeah, other than that mid presence, they're actually going for a fairly passive setup. They're most likely just waiting for some aggression to come in by Red Reserve, and instead of the aggression, Red Reserve have gone for a bit of a different approach. They've made a bit of a gamble. They've decided to put 3 players over towards B, and Relax on mid now. He will be aware that there is at least a couple of players that have made their way out towards this position. The smoke goes down, and it's going to restrict them from really actually trying to help his teammate for the moment, and I think the best thing he can do now maybe is get into jungle, try and spot the connector push up, as Botan is going to have a lot of players coming in his direction in just a couple of moments, as 2 from Palace, 3 sneaking their way in towards jungle. And I don't think he's going to be aware that these players have actually pushed up towards the bench, and they will have heard the scope now, but he does not connect the shot. ECFN, crossing across that angle, will be able to take down Botan, and now the bomb getting planted, or at least they should be eventually, just ensuring that no one is trying to pull off a little bit of a sneaky round by hiding in one of those corners. So on a 5-on-4 now, with that gamble being put in by Red Reserve to stack the B bomb site, I think they are just going to be saving.
Would probably be the smart play. And Red Reserve, they're proving their smarts. They are going to look to save. To be fair, alternate attacks have quite a few rifles, so if one of those players overextends a little, that's something that could be recovered. But the Swedes not really pushing forwards. I think it is more important for Red Reserve to just hold on to what they can, just so that they can compete into this upcoming round, and it looks like they agree. And with so many Desert Eagles, I think you can afford to just go for a more default setup. I think when you invest into the Desert Eagle specifically, you can just try and hold on the actual sites and then be able to get a quick headshot and then try and fall back. So you don't have to go for a stack when you have the potential for the headshots. So I would like to see this round, Red Reserve be a little bit more standard in their hold. Just go for maybe a 2-1-2 and not really peek towards mid too much, because that's certainly dangerous. That's what we are going to see by the looks of things. So good to spot that out, but they are going to also group up towards mid. Could also work out here because ATTAX have been going for the mid presence fairly often. We are going to see the trades come out, but ECFN comes up from underpass, gets a quick kill, trying to get the jump shot, a little ambitious. The trades are won by ATTAX, 4v3.
Interestingly enough, Freddy Frog has had a flash this entire time that could have been thrown out once his teammates were ready to peek from connector and short. So interestingly enough that he did not throw that. And because of that, it will be alternate attacks with a 1-man advantage. Working with all rifles also, right now it is looking pretty good for them, even though they have lost 1 player. They can now just try and regroup towards middle, it seems, as Tizian, ensuring that no flanks are going to be coming in. The bomb making its way up short, it seems, actually, as it may be a B-split that is oncoming, and that could be dangerous. As we can see, a very strong setup right now. Freddy Frog finds one, as does Plessin. London eventually trades it, but now in a 2-on-2, this is looking doable for Red Reserve. The deal up close in the hands of Plessin. We know what damage can be done with this weapon, as Hunden holding this angle will find the aggression, and that's a crucial frag now, as this B-bomb site should be taken over, and it's going to be all on to Relaxa now in a 1-on-2, and he has been spotted. His position is known. Bomb going to be trying to get put down by Hunden, but that could be dangerous. Relaxa already pushing out towards the bomb site, is going to get spotted out eventually, and Hunden, he finds himself 3 crucial frags in that round.
Yeah, saving the day for the team there, because when it went to the 2v2, that was a little scary. But that is now in the past. We have to look forward to the future, because Red Reserve will go for the buy. Again, no AWP invested. Relaxa not willing to save for that one. And the players that could afford the AWP also elect to just pick up the M4. There's also no defuse kit on the CT side. And their utility also isn't looking all that good. So there are certainly some weaknesses in the buy, but most importantly, they do have the weaponry. They do have the firepower to compete. We are already seeing alternate attacks lean towards B. I'm not expecting a full-on push just yet, though. Seems like alternate attacks do really like to take slow starts to the rounds, and that works generally quite well, especially in a round like this, where Red Reserve are likely to use all their utility early on, of what little utility they have. It means that when attacks go for the late round push, they can find a much easier push towards the site where they don't have to deal with too many nades.
Yeah, and looking like right now it will be a B-bomb site hit rather, and as we can see, a bit of a gamble by Red Reserve. They don't actually have anyone spotting mid. Instead, all 3 players just over towards the A-bomb site means that they're not really in a position to go for a fast rotate. Let's see what Hizian will be able to get done, but no, he peeks out, gets taken down by Bolton, and that was the one player there perhaps trying to sell a bit of a fake, try and keep these players in position over towards A. That is going to get taken down, as now finally the execute will be coming and the smokes are thrown out. The terrorists able to make their way out towards the bomb site, and actually Stefan to open it up by taking down Plessin. One more player is going to be on short as Hunden planting for this position. Luckily enough, the smokes, they are still there to cover this cover the sight line for the moment. But Molotov by Hunden, that could really be impactful, as he does force that player out into the open. ECFN finds the kill, and now it's a 4-on-3. Alternate attacks have control of the bomb site, and if a kill doesn't come in fast, Red Reserve, they are just going to begin to back off and save these weapons now.
Yeah, a really well prepared and planned push towards the B site there, with the 2 smokes being deployed in towards short. You don't see teams go for a push like that all that often, where they have the smokes already lined up to allow the bomb to go down more easily. And I think that's because you can sometimes see over those smokes if you're all the way pushed up towards short, but this time around it's not going to happen for Red Reserve. Only the 1 kill from Boughton, and that just wasn't enough to allow the retake. So alternate attacks off to a strong start. And to be fair, they've also been able to hold on to most of their guns. It was only really that 3rd round where it went down to a 2v2, where they lost a few of their guns up until this point. We are going to see Red Reserve hold on to 3 rifles. So alternate attacks can't sort of underestimate this buy from Red Reserve. There's still every chance they could win this round.
Yeah, they do still have a lot of firepower to back themselves up in this round, but once again, they are happy enough with just giving up middle. Sirison with the op has been able to get himself into a very advanced position up towards short, peeking over towards the A-bomb site, and DJL with an attempted push towards the underpass position is going to get taken down. So alternate attacks now with a manpower advantage as well as the firepower advantage, and because of that, Red Reserve, they are going to be looking to try and gain themselves some map control, and we see over towards A is where they will go for it. A flash into the ramp at least allows for a peek to come in by Freddy Frog. Looks to try and get himself some info, but right now it's alternate attacks just grouping up towards B and also looking to try and make their way up short, and Red Reserve with a bit of a gamble have completely left this B-bomb site open, as I don't really think this is going to be... I don't really think there's going to be much right now for Red Reserve to do unless they can find these kills before Alternate are able to actually take over the bomb site, and the timing seems to have gone away from them now. They've missed their window. Alternate attacks have been able to advance fully up short and take control of this B bomb site, and now on a 4-on-5 this is going to be very difficult for Red Reserve, especially with their players being spotted already on that flank up short.
Ooh, Searson gets that headshot. Okay then. That's pretty much going to put an end to the retake attempt from Red Reserve. Really nice shot there, landing on quite a tight angle. And Red Reserve, with the 2 rifles, will just look to save. I think Freddy Frog will try and stick around, see if he can get a gun. There is that rifle dropped in towards mid, but Freddy Frog is out towards B. Boughton might be in trouble. The push comes in. They don't spot him out. Nice spray down to get a couple of kills. At least try and cut back on that ATTAX economy. In comes Hunden to shut him out. So ATTAX should still hold on to a decent amount of their weaponry. At a 5-0 start, that's the main thing to look for. Already a very, very impressive scoreline. And Red Reserve, they will have the bye again. They really need to make sure they win here. But now is the chance if they want to go for an AWP.
Yeah, let's see if they do decide to pick that one up. Relax, it already has Kevlar and still has 6,000 in the bank, so I'd say that is quite likely. DJL also picks one up, so they will be looking to go for this double up setup. Let's see what they're going to be able to get done. Mirage, a map where you see this being brought out quite often, rather, but look at this aggressive push instead from the rifles. Botan going to be pushing up. Hunden with a pretty decent pop flash is going to be able to find the first kill, but he will be found successfully as Botan gets the trade. And Tizian out of ramp able to take down DJL, so now it's a 3-on-4. Once again, Red Reserve. Not looking amazing, but Relaxa doing his best to try and bring this back in favour of the Swedish side. But he will eventually be smoked off and doesn't really have any sort of eyesight over that bomb site now with the bomb being planted. And look at this from Alternate Attacks. I like this. They've gone aggressive. They pushed up towards jungle to try and get themselves into a solid after plant. But they could perhaps be caught off guard by the player pushing in through the smoke. But no, Stefan, perfect timing as he turns around to find that headshot. And now it's all going to be onto Relaxa. 1-on-3. He is going to be stuck in window and he will be found by ECFN. As Alternate Attacks with a 6-0 start. It's looking so amazing right now for the German side with a little bit of a hint of a Danish player as they bring in Hunden as their in-game leader. But so far he's doing a good job on Mirage at least. 6-0 on the T side.
And again, when Red Reserve don't have the individuals show up, it does feel like they don't have much to fall back on. I mean, it is kind of that way with a lot of teams, but especially for Red Reserve, I always feel like they are really quite reliant on that firepower. You can see Freddy Frog not really showing up to start the game today. DJL also yet to frag after picking up that AWP in the previous round. So a couple of players just not quite performing as we would expect. And, I mean, you've got to give credit to Alternate Attacks from that. They are obviously winning the fights, but I don't know how long this can last. I think Red Reserve should be the better team in terms of overall skill on the roster, but that's not really proven to be true so far. Alternate Attacks showing up in a big way. And Red Reserve into this round will only really have Freddy Frog on the rifle. So again, looks like it could be another clean round win for ATTAX. And if Red Reserve aren't careful, this could get way too far out of hand. And to be honest, it already is starting to get a little out of hand already.
Oh yeah, certainly. And once again, over toward the middle, Alternate Attacks, this has been a position that so far they have been able to successfully abuse. And they're looking to try and do the same in this round. As Sirison, he's going to get baited out there. Botan goes for a little bit of a peek. He's going to be able to just bait that op shot out and remain alive for the moment as Relaxa using that smoke and connector to try and find the opening kill. But Stefan for the moment doesn't really seem to be peeking this too aggressively, but when he eventually does, it's with a flash from his teammate, so it works out perfectly as he does find that opening kill for Alternate Attacks. So once again, Red Reserve, this round not going to be starting off as they would have hoped, as Alternate Attacks in a 5-on-4 now are happy enough with just backing off once again, regrouping towards the A-bomb site, leaving Stefan rather in underpass to try and lurk towards connector, but Botan rather, is going to be able to return that. So nice peek there. We'll be able to take that player down, but he can't really risk picking up that weapon, which is a big problem because other than that, they only have that one M4 to back up these pistols. As now Tizian pop flash in towards Palace. He's going to be able to shut that down. Drops DJL. Gives them a better chance now of opening up this bomb site. But Botan, of course, retrieving that AK finally now, working from connector. Utility's still available on all of these terrorists, basically. So Molotovs and flashes going down to try and block off his vision. Molotov burns Plessin a bit and actually forces him into the open where he will eventually be found. So it's all on to Botan. 1-on-3, and I don't really think he's going to be going for this unless he has a... he does have decent economy, so perhaps he could go for and try and get some damage, but then again, Alternate Attacks themselves, they have a fairly strong economy already. So let's see what he decides to do. He will be creeping forward at least, trying to make his way in towards the bomb site with a bit of a surprise element, but two players are waiting around this corner now. He should be found, but he gets one more. Now it's looking dangerous actually. Hunden, he is going to be able to peek out. It's on the default position currently, no defuse kit, so it should still be gone in favour of Alternate Attacks, but at least trying to get some more damage done in this one. That's not so bad, but there we go. He will eventually be dropped by Tizian. But yeah, there was basically no chance of winning that round. It was really about whether he thought it was worth it to try and do some damage to the economy of Alternate Attacks, but I don't know if I agree that it completely was. Looking at the economy of Alternate Attacks, they have plenty of money, not really going to have any sort of an impact, and Botan could have had himself that AK, had himself all the Kevlar, had himself the defuse kit, everything he wanted. But I guess the double up setup coming out was his goal in the end, as it's not going to be DJL this time. So Botan working with the op. Let's see what he will get done.
Well, yeah, they do decide to switch something up in terms of, as you were saying, Botan buying the second AWP. It's yet to be seen whether that will be enough alone to make the difference. Somehow, Sirson is down to 14 HP early on. I didn't quite spot that one out. Botan is on the A site with the AWP, so that may have been what happened. Either way, Red Reserve again have used pretty much all their utility to start the round. Freddy Frog, the one man left with a full set of nades. The Alternate Attacks are lining up a fairly standard A play by the looks of things. But Red Reserve, they're taking a big gamble. They want their first round. And to do so, they're going to try and stack 4 players towards A. This might just work for them if ATTAX pull the trigger, which is yet to be seen. There's still a minute left, but it seems very likely ATTAX might fall into the trap.
Yes, certainly so much presence right now on this A bomb site by Red Reserve, as the utility will be thrown in. Flashes and smokes are going to be going down, and nice boost coming in as the Molotov, I believe, there goes in towards the triple position, but it seems to have actually been extinguished by a smoke. But now, alternate attacks making their way out of ramp. It will actually be the first kill to go in favour of Red Reserve, and it seems to be all of them so far, as Freddy Frog and Bolton are going to be shutting it down, as does Relaxa without their AWP. So all onto Cirrus, and the player who you mentioned early on was damaged quite heavily. So when a 1-on-4 with only 14 points of HP, it's very unlikely he's going to be able to get much done in this clutch situation. So it should finally be Red Reserve getting themselves around onto the board.
Yeah, Searson not interested with such little time left, although Pleasant might be. He's coming in for the flank. I don't know if Searson will be allowed to save this gun. He can afford to take his time here. Oh, it's Pleasant. He could have waited and killed him after time. It's not a massive consideration. It would have been nice. Either way, he just wants to deny the AWP, force the reinvestment, which will have to come through. But as you were saying, plenty of cash for ATTAX means that's not a massive issue. Although, surprisingly enough, with how much they've had to reinvest here, their money is looking a little bit on the more questionable side. So maybe if Red Reserve could win this round, it could be up for debate. And again, ATTAX leaning towards A to start the round. Clearly not happy with how the previous one went. They want success on the A site.
Yeah, but it's not going to be any success found so far. Bolton's going to be able to find 2 quick headshots actually there, as it doesn't seem like they expect DJL to be close in ramp either, so he should be getting... No! Sirison! How does he find that kill? DJL just being so cautious of the players who are already on the bomb site, but will it be the round in favour of alternate attacks because of that, perhaps? But still, there is still 2 players alive for Red Reserve. They have both Freddy Frog and Pleasant. It looks like they will be looking to try and get this retake, but alternate attacks, if they're to take this, the economy of Red Reserve being reset, that would be a horrible situation for the Swedish side. But there we go, Freddy Frog through the smoke will find a very crucial kill. And now on a 2-on-2 with the bomb ticking away. Let's see if they're going to be able to get this retake done. ECFN rather, with a smoke put down, will be looking to try and play around the Freddy Frog holding for this, but he won't be able to find it. Eventually ECFN does go ahead and drop the Swede, and Sirison finds the remaining, as it is going to be alternate attacks winning that round on the back of what was a kill that Sirison never really should have gotten.
I mean, all I can say is, if Red Reserve win this game at this point, I'll eat a boot. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Do that. We've seen what's happened recently.
It's going to happen now. It happened to Vince. It will happen to me. I'm not actually eating a boot, though. Well, he's not either. It's a tactical pause, though, so maybe I could eat my words. Not a boot, though. As Red Reserve, just going to talk things over. Not sure what they can really do at this point. Probably just 1 eco will be enough, but even then... It's pretty tough to see a road back into this one. I mean, they can maybe get themselves a couple rounds on their CT side. If they can pull off maybe something like 5 rounds, they'd be okay. But even that feels like a long way away right now with how Red Reserve have been playing so far.
Yeah, and the economy of Red Reserve right now, they actually have 1 player who's on a double eco. That's Freddy Frog. The rest of the players, they do have a decent economy that would probably allow them to buy up in this following round. So I'd presume most likely an eco would be coming in this one. But then again, discussing over this now in their tactical pause, they may actually come to the conclusion that they want to force buy. So I don't know if I'd agree with it, but if that's the decision that they come to, of course, we would have to just see what they can get done. But it doesn't seem... Oh, there we go. Never mind. Pleasant goes for the UMP. The rest of the players yet to invest, but they will also start purchasing up some SMGs. So it looks like Red Reserve are going to be going all into this one. They want to try and bring themselves back into this. Losing this one means they will be then facing an eco. Alternate attacks in such a good position to at least make this a double-digit half on the T side of Mirage.
And if they only got 10 rounds, they might even be disappointed with that at this point. We are going to see damage done. Relaxa, the one man with the rifle, chunked down to 41 HP before the round has even really begun. He was trying to make a play out towards mid, but that goes against him. However, he will hold onto the M4, feeling confident. In the meantime, Searson just locking down this angle. Attacks are spread across the map, trying to spot for any aggression. Of course, ATTAX might not be 100% sure what sort of buy this is like from Red Reserve, so they are playing a little cautiously for the time being. With over a minute left on the clock, this is generally what we see from ATTAX. Slow start to the round, and then eventually they seem to, for the most part at least, group up and then try and hit a site.
Yeah, but look at this actually. Tizian just creeping out a ramp could be in a great position to get some damage done. Right now, the only player who was towards the A-bomb site has begun to rotate off. They also had Botan going aggressive towards Palace, and he's really committed to this push. He's looking to try and come in on the flank perhaps, but if the A-bomb site's just given up, they can make their way immediately up connector, and actually ECFN making his way towards spawn may be able to find this kill. Only a pistol, of course, for this player to work with, and there we go. Botan does fall. Alternate Attacks now should have control of this bomb site. Bomb goes down, and the 4-man stack on the B bomb site for Red Reserve, which is the completely wrong choice apparently, as up connector was where all of Alternate Attacks decided to go. And it is going to be Alternate Attacks, of course, taking this round. At least Red Reserve attempting to save to give themselves something to work with in the following round, but at this point, they need to start picking up rounds. Saving isn't going to be enough to just carrying over weapons. It's about to be 9-1 on the T side for Alternate Attacks on the final map of this best of 3 series, so it's not looking great right now for Red Reserve.
Yeah, not looking great for Red Reserve is probably an understatement at this point. But having said that, Freddy Frog will get himself an AK, so another rifle saved. And heading into round 11, they will get to, I guess, get some sort of buy together with the save that has come through. You can see a couple of UMPs in the mix. It's not going to be an awful buy, but Alternate Attacks, as always, have a perfect buy on their side. And if you take a look at the scoreboard, the surprising thing is Alternate Attacks don't really have anyone massively fragging out. A lot of the time, Red Reserve have just lost the bomb sites and been forced to save so quickly that the frags haven't necessarily even come through. You're going to see Freddy Frog try and work a pick, but it's Searson instead who picks him off with that AWP, getting the initial entry, and Plesson could be in trouble over towards B apps. Not going to be spotted out though, and this is what we see fairly often from Attacks. Spreading out 3 players mid, 1 just holding A, 1 just holding B. It's been simple but effective for the mostly German team so far.
Oh yeah, extremely effective as the scoreline currently shows, but Botan, once again, looking to go for this aggression. The timing not really going to be working in for him. He's able to actually push in just as Tizian decides to back off, so gets this map control to work with. He has the chance to perhaps even go for the flank if they do eventually commit to the B-bomb site, but at the moment the bomb is actually in connector and doing so quite alone. That could have got dangerous. DJL was up close with the UMP. He was looking to try and finally get himself onto the scoreboard, but for now, the B-bomb site is going to be the target. Split up apartments, or rather, split up short and through the apartments, and still that flank could be massive, but ECFN finds a crucial kill onto Plesson. Relaxa, not able to get anything done with that only rifle that they had available, and now I think it's too late for Botan to really get much done on the flank. Tizian should be finding this kill, and there you have it. All onto DJL, still yet to get himself a kill in this map so far, and I think once again he's just going to be looking to try and save.
Yeah, that's a rip again. Not a single kill for Red Reserve. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. It's not only the scoreline, it's that quite a few of these rounds have been really one-sided. Even when Red Reserve have had the rifles, they've just not been able to get any kills. Not even finding a trade frag or anything like that that shouldn't be too hard to pull off when you're holding a site. It's just not been their day, at least on Mirage. It's going to be Alternate Attacks up to double digits, and they will be looking to extend that further. We'll see the money for Red Reserve. It's okay, but there certainly won't be an AWP. Boughton will get to save the so it's only going to be rifles if they go for the buy, which at this point you probably just have to force. But yeah, it's getting a little bit depressing at this point. I kind of hope Red Reserve get at least a couple of rounds together, because otherwise this could be a little bit embarrassing.
Oh yeah, certainly. I think even if Red Reserve were to pick up the following 4 rounds, Alternate Attacks would still be heavily favoured to take this one. And actually a nice aggressive push is going to come in. This time Freddy's able to find 2 kills. They do lose a kill in return, but relax it with a great headshot onto Cirrus, and Les now a 4-on-2. So this is the best it's looked in quite a while. But then again, ECFN is going to go ahead and step it up. DJL finally going to be able to get himself onto the scoreboard as he takes down Tizian. So ECFN now in a 1 versus 2, and Red Reserve looking likely that they may finally be able to get another round onto the board. But let's see if ECFN will be able to pull off a clutch. Doesn't have a lot of HP to work with. He is looking over towards Tetris where there is 1 player located. And also this Molotov could be massive as it does go down towards the position. But it just about misses, I believe. And that does end up working against ECFN. But he is going to go for the peak. He is going to receive a lot of damage in return. And now on 6 points of HP, it is going to be down to a 1-on-1. Plesson, he's looking extremely healthy at the moment. Hasn't lost any HP yet. And ECFN may be caught off guard, as the timing doesn't work in his favour. So there you have it. Plesson finally allows Red Reserve to get themselves a 2nd round onto the board, but with only 1 player alive, they don't build up a bank or anything, and they will now be struggling to buy into this round onto perhaps a couple of players.
Yeah, I do like the call from Red Reserve to go for some aggression together. That did allow them to get the trade kills. Even after they lost that first frag, they got the trades back around. That's exactly what they need to do to play off of each other a little bit better. This time around, though, Alternate Attacks, after losing out towards mid previously, they're only going to send Hunden there. The rest of the team lining up what looks to be a fast B push. Grenades, though, aren't being thrown yet, so that smoke may have caused them to slow things down. If Pleasant's not careful, he could be picked off. He is spotted, but manages to fall back. Pleasant's still playing for info, needs to get his gun out, finally does so. He gets that first headshot, but the trade comes back quickly. And again, a deep smoke in towards short is enough to gain control of the bomb site.
Yeah, really nice trade frag there by Tizian. It is going to be actually planted for short, which could be dangerous, especially with this boost coming in. But then again, another player below the smoke. Nice nade goes out. Tizian down to 55. But no, the only defuse kit that currently is in the hands of Relaxa. And if he gets taken down, it could get dangerous. Right now, he's the sole player in kitchen. Luckily enough, Freddy Frog finds the first. Relaxa with the up also chimes in onto Hunden. And now it's all onto ECFN and Tizian, who currently are actually stuck on the bomb site itself. A boost is going to be coming in though. Tizian finds the first. Will maybe find the second, but Relaxa hits the flick, and they know the last player's on the bomb site. 1 on 2. And it won't be successful as Relaxa. He's going to step it up in that round to find 3 kills and allow his team to take that round.
And the defuse as well for Relaxa, of course, he had the kit, so they switch it over to him. Nicely done there. ECFN did, I think, make a step in that 1v2 attempt, so it made it pretty easy for Relaxa to spot him out. But he still had to land a shot, and that he did. So there we go. Red Reserve get a 3rd round together. And now, whoever loses this round will probably be down to a weakened buy for the last of the half. Unless maybe Alternate Attacks got a bomb plant through, then they could probably get a full buy. But Relaxa, stepping things up, as you were saying, gets an opening in this round as well. I think there was a little gap in that ramp smoke that he exploited to the fullest for the first frag. And so Alternate Attacks, their default setup hasn't particularly worked for them in these recent rounds. The one player towards A gets picked off, but the mid presence is still here. Fortunately for Searson, though, no chance for an entry just yet. So let's see what Alternate Attacks can do now they have mid control.
Yeah, looking to try and bring this one back, and it seems like they may actually be boosting the player up into the window. I believe that's Stefan who's going to be getting put up into this position. There is currently Boatin waiting on the other side to try and shut this down, but Hunden from the ladder room instead finds the opening. So 4 on 4 now, brought back in favour of Alternate Attacks. They also have a player who can creep his way into CT spawn, and I think we're just looking at a B split right now, especially with one player coming in from the CT spawn to cut off the rotates to have an extra angle to actually attack this bomb site from and not allow the CTs to feel safe. And there we have it, Stefan. He's going to open it up on towards Pleasant. And now it's only one player on short to try and hold down this B bomb site, and Hunden once again steps it up when required. So the Danish IGL at the moment is going to be getting some impactful kills into this round, as it's only DJL and Relaxa that remain, and still no economy built up for Red Reserve. But one more round in this half, I think it might be worthwhile them just saving both of these weapons once again.
Oh, Relaxa has a USP in hand. He's gonna go in and get the kill. Nice flashbang there to allow that to occur. And it looks as though Red Reserve might go for the retake. I think they've gone against it, though. They decide it's not worthwhile. I mean, their money is so atrocious that even if they save these 2 guns, that's really all they're going to have to work with into the last round of the half. So I can understand going for the retake. That saving also makes some sense. It's very unlikely they were going to straight up win. And saving an AWP and an AK could be enough to make the difference, but they're going to have to rely almost solely on those 2 guns. So we head into the last round of the half. The rest of the team not really with the money. And to be honest, that's pretty much summed up this half for Red Reserve. Quite a few buys where they haven't had the cash. They've continually been down with not quite a full buy, and that's allowed ATTAX to get out to such a strong lead. As Red Reserve will have to rely on the AWP and the AK for the last round of the half.
Yeah, but you can never underestimate what either of these weapons can do. DJL, though, hasn't really been having a great performance, and he is one of the 2 players that actually has these rifles to work with. So let's see if he's going to be able to step it up when it's really required. Fast play towards the A bomb site, it seems, as Tizian is going to be able to open it up once again. But Freddy Frog, just as that smoke towards Jungle blooms, he is able to find himself a quick headshot and give them a chance now in a 4 on 4. Pleasant towards middle, though. Going to have some trouble. Spots out one player towards the top. CZ, not really the best weapon to be fighting at this range, so will eventually call for DJL to come in and support him, but he just backs off. Nice play there, as he's going to be able to wrap around towards T-spawn. come back and make sure that he's just able to help his teammates with this bomb, as now it looks to be a 4-on-4 retake, and not anymore. Sirison hits a great shot there as he takes down Freddy Frog, just using the pixel, I believe, as he was escaping. And the Molotov burning Tizian alive. He will just about escape, but damage has been done, and it's getting a bit more complicated now. But then again, the frag's still going heavily in favour of alternate attacks, and it will be ECFN to secure that 12th round, as it is going to be 12-3 in favour of the German side as we swap halves.
And they will be delighted with that score at the half. 12-3 up, meaning the pistol round would likely be decisive if they won it. You can see ECFN up there with 15 frags leading the way, but to be honest, a lot of it wasn't really massively about the frags. A lot of it was just about getting a couple of important entries, and then that basically won them the round. Red Reserve never really had the chance to go aggressive. They never really got into their stride on their CT side, and so now it's all up to this pistol for them. DJL is going to buy Kevlar, so it's 5 sets of Kevlar for the Red Reserve side, relying only on the Glocks to get the job done. And that might work for them, because ECFN is the only man towards A, although the B push is coming in. Relaxer does clothesline the first and the second before Tizian gets the trade. And here comes the A push. ECFN spots them out, but doesn't get a kill. Decides to drop a smoke himself. The push comes in, but ECFN gets those 2 kills, and he's still not dead. He's in the smoke. How is he alive here? DJL finally puts a bullet in his back to 2v2, but Tizian should have got that kill. Doesn't quite find it, though. So still a 2v2 after the bomb goes down in this crazy round.
Oh yeah, that was very awkward. The CT push didn't work out at all for Red Reserve. I know the idea behind that. I like it, trying to get some map control before they get the bomb planted, but it wasn't very successful. So now DJL stuck on the bomb site, has support from Freddy Frog, who's actually going to try and wrap around towards Palace to be actually able to play off of this bomb. But there is a defuse kit in the hands of Tizian, and DJL finds a crucial frag there as he looks to try and deny the retake. He's able to get 1 headshot before eventually falling, and Freddy Frog yet to go for the peak. The defuse kit is in the hands of Tizian, but he will be found, as Red Reserve find a very crucial pistol round to keep themselves alive.
Exactly what they needed. They get the round win after it goes down to the 2-on-2. After getting the bomb down as well, to be fair, Freddy Frog was in a great position to hold it off, and he did just that, getting the final kill. So now alternate attacks will just go for the pistols. Red Reserve do need to make sure they don't lose this round, because I think that would just be so demoralizing. They would probably just give up right there and then. That would, yeah, pretty much end things. So don't lose to the pistols is the main aim here for Red Reserve. As the push comes out towards mid, they could be in danger as
Sirison aces this.
Gets that first kill, you think so? With the
Nah,
USB?
nah, but that'd just be the worst possible thing for Red Reserve to happen. The only player who doesn't invest, imagine that. But yeah, Pleasant, he's going to at least be able to trade that. So a bit of damage at least being done with the pistols early on, but it seems like Red Reserve should be able to pull this one back, making their way in towards the B-bomb site. It's only ECFN to hold this one down, and he has now been spotted. So let's see if he's going to be able to at least get a couple of kills out of this one and cause some damages. There's the first, the second, and he may be able to find more. But DJL eventually finds the trade, and now Pleasant, he's going to be the last man standing. Players on every single side of him as he does get taken down. And it wasn't the pistol from Sirison to get it done, but it was that to open it up and actually allow alternate attacks to pull off that upset. I was just making a joke, but alternate attacks 13-4, Red Reserve, they're going to really be face palming after that round.
Yeah, that's not what they wanted. I think it's fair to say. Full rifles, except for the UMP for attacks. They should be good now, really, to close out the game, but certainly this round. It's yet to be seen, though. Alternate attacks just won with pistols, so Red Reserve, they're going to have to try and follow that up with a pistol win of their own, and Relaxer might sort of spur the charge to do that. He does get that opening kill. Still a long way to go, but that's certainly how they would have had to have started this round. You can see ATTAX wanting to make a play, but Sirison also gets picked off. So the Desert Eagles do find a couple of headshots to start the round.
Yeah, and just knowing what damage the pistols can get done, alternate attacks, perhaps over facing there on mid, I must say. You're kind of giving away the kills. Of course, they have the rifles, they have the advantage at the range, but the Eagles, when you're hitting those shots, they are dangerous, and ECFN does his best to try and pull it back at least, but it doesn't seem to be enough, as it's all onto Stefan now in a 1-on-3. So maybe Red Reserve keeping themselves alive once again. Not the ideal situation that they lost the round following the pistol, but At least they are going to be able to pick it back up now. All onto Stefan. 1 on 3. Spots out the first player at least. Nice Molotov going to be going down by either player actually, as 1 onto the default position, 1 onto the stairs. And now Stefan, I think he already has begun to give up on his hopes of actually pulling off this clutch, and it's just going to look to try and save the AK. It's not really needed. I don't really think it's needed for him to go for this retake. Just save the AK. They have a lot of room to work with, and just focus on picking up these following gun rounds.
Oh, there we go. The pistols do come right back at alternate attacks, and they will lose the round. Question is, what will their buy look like in this upcoming 19th? And it looks as though with the AK save, they might get a force on their hands. Somewhat debatable as to whether they should force or not, with a couple of players having money. It's also somewhat debatable because they have such a big lead that it might be worth ecoing just to make sure they do get a proper full buy. And you can see Hunden, he's taking this seriously. He's calling for the tactical pause. So it's good to see that attacks will make sure they make whatever they think is the correct decision. With the AK being saved, it's probably best still, I think, to just go for the save here. I'd rather them just make sure they have a gun round as soon as possible. But it is always tempting when you could break the T economy with a win and effectively win the game. Looks like Hunden has made his decision, though. The unpause will come through. And a little bit of investment, but not the full force.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best decision, because with the current scoreline alternate attacks, they're not really forced to actually try and go for the buys. They're not forced to try and deny rounds for Red Reserve. They still have a lot of room to work with, so at least just try and get some damage in this one. That'll be their main focus with that AK from Stefan. Of course, if they can win, that would be a massive bonus, and we've seen things like that happen in the past. You know what damage can be done with just one weapon that's saved over, and actually it looks like the T is immediately just going to be executing onto this A bomb site, where currently there is a stack in place for alternate attacks. This could get dangerous, but it's opened up by Blessed Redder. He finds the first. It is going to be all the kills so far going in favour of the terrorist side, as it's all onto Sirison. USP in hand, able to find himself a kill once again, but 4 more players, and they are all aware of his position as he's trapped in behind this ticket booth. But there's another. He's able to take down Boatin also, and this is getting dangerous, but luckily enough, DJL on that flank will eventually come in from behind.
So attacks do have the option to buy now, and they will utilize that option. Straight away buying up. Tizian even drops an AWP over to Searson. So it's a pretty damn good buy. Even though they don't have full nades, they still have a kit. So overall, certainly a competent buy into this round. And you can see Red Reserve, they might want to go for another fast-paced round, this time out towards B. It'd be interesting to know whether Red Reserve have an idea that this is a buy coming out from attacks. You can see them lining up the nades. There's a player on top of Freddy Frog's head. Also going to throw the nades out, but the incendiary is going to slow things down. Boughton goes straight through, trying to find an entry, but Hunden gets a frag. The UMP is good for a couple of kills on the B hold, but you can see the rest of attacks have to rotate very quickly, and they're still nowhere near the site as the bomb goes down.
Yeah, no defuse kit nor utility other than the 2 flashes to actually try and finish off these low HP players, so they need to do it with their rifles. They need to actually push in, and they need to try and do so extremely fast, otherwise they may run out of time. And that Molotov not really going to be helping. I believe some damage even done on towards ECFN. As now the bomb taken away. These players, if they don't find a kill soon, they may just have to back off. And here we go. There's the opening that was required. Tizian going to be able to take down DJL. Plessin from the apartment to try and actually return it. And all he does is damage so far, but he's able to find Sirison from kitchen and relax it in sync. He'll be able to find ECFN also. And there you have it. Red Reserve pick themselves up a very crucial round, and the bomb may take down Relaxa, but no, the timing, he just about survives. That could have been another weapon dropped out of the hands of Red Reserve. But alternate attacks now, once again, their economy not looking great. They will be facing an eco as Red Reserve. We've seen this happen in the past, and you have to wonder now for alternate attacks, this is perhaps bringing some flashbacks to Cobblestone.
Yeah, we're going to see one player jump out in towards mid. Ooh, that nade might land. Not quite. Searson falls back. While, however, attacks are just on pistols, I think it's a good time as any to quickly thank our sponsors over at Farmskins. They say they have better drops than Gaben, so make sure to check them out. They also have daily bonuses and rewards, so check them out, and thanks to them for supporting the tournament. Other than that, though, the bomb is back in T-spawn. How's this happened then? Red Reserve overlooking the A push, and Tizian has an AK, and he has 2 kills. Oh no, this could be a disastrous loss. Freddy Frog, though, locking it down with 2 kills in reply. Boughton is also going to come to assist him, but again, this should never have gone to a 2-on-2.
Yeah, but Freddy Frog, he does find a very crucial frag there to ensure that Red Reserve should be able to take this round, as now it's all onto ECFN, 1-on-2. A flash goes out by Bolton, bomb yet to be retrieved, but it doesn't matter. He's able to find that final kill onto ECFN. It was a little bit closer than we would have expected at first, though, for sure.
Oh, as long as Red Reserve win the rounds at this point, that's all they really need to worry about. Heading into round 22, though, there is an AWP for Searson. Without Kevlar, it looks like Red Reserve again. They're just going to line up a push towards a site early into the round. Might just be a full-on A play. If they were to go for that, Searson is the only man properly holding A with the AWP. Although there are a couple of players in connector. So here we go into this round, and Red Reserve just going to take their sweet time. They are lining up the nades, though, so at any moment, they could explode on towards A. It'll be interesting to see if Searson can get a kill with the AWP on the hold.
Yeah, the smokes now are going to be going down. The players push out just before they blew him, but Searson unable to connect that shot on the first attempt, but using the box to elevate himself, he will be able to take down Plesson. The opening kill going in favour of alternate attacks. ECFN, he's aware of this flank and he's going to be able to shut down DJL, as finally it's looking pretty good for alternate attacks, but Freddy Frog, that wild spam through the smoke, will be able to take down Hunden. Still with a man disadvantage, this is going to be difficult for a Red Reserve to try and pull it back. As for the moment, they don't really have access to the bomb site. They've been forced back towards Tetris. One player still stuck in Palace. And with 48 seconds remaining for the moment, they will just continue to hold, it seems. Waiting to see if anyone from alternate attacks makes a mistake and overextends to hand away a kill. But I don't think that will be happening. The German side, of course, playing this passive. They know they have the advantage right now. They know they're in a pretty good position. But they have to begin being perhaps wary of the possibility of the players rotating back towards B quite soon. And you can see because of that, they've actually sent Stefan back over to this position, leaving this A site just a little bit weaker than it was a couple of moments ago.
The time is really ticking down now. Red Reserve need to go. 13 seconds. They have to get the bomb down. They run the risk of that costing them the round. Here comes Relaxer pushing forwards. The bomb plant has to come in, but it is denied. And that is the round lost. Just not really looking like they had the idea that the clock was in the back of their heads there, really. And so Red Reserve lose out on that round. They give ATTAX a 14th. You can see they are going to go for the buy. Pretty much a full buy, except for Plesson here. However, they don't have much money in the bank. So, again, Red Reserve, a must-win round for them. Let's hope they have something better planned than that round, because it didn't look great for them. After they tried to go for the A play, they couldn't quite commit fully to trying to take the site, and they just kind of got stuck in between both positions and just couldn't get the bomb down. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, it looks like they have a plan at least coming into this one. It looks like it will be an execute towards the B bomb site, and with a couple of players towards top mid also, a B split is on the table, as it seems at least. But here we go, Bolton. Smoke goes out. Nice flash also. Molotov to clear out the van position, but there's a player up on top of the balcony at the moment that was finally forced back off, as the T's themselves, it seems like it could potentially be a fake. They have a couple players making their way down middle, one player creeping his way into jungle, and it looks like they're just going to bide their time now as they allow for DJL to get into a good position to cut off the rotates to get B in on this lurk, but it's been red. ECFN, he finds that very important kill, as now the terrorists with two players up short, two players in the B apartments, they do have to try and make their way towards this B bomb site quite soon. They don't have any control towards A, and they only have 45 seconds now, so they need to get a move on. They have to be cautious of the flanks, of course, also, as the CTs, with still some utility left. Finally, they should be having a couple of players to try and defend this against now. Relaxa, he's going to be leading it up short, looking to try and catch some of these players, and you may be able to spot the player who's actually boosted up at the moment, but instead it's Bolton to find that. SDFN, though, he steps it up massively. Relaxa, not going to be able to find that kill onto Hunden, so it's looking like map point and serious point should be going in favour of alternate attacks, unless Freddy Frog can pull off a 1 versus 4. He has the first kill. He even finds that second one there with a really nice headshot onto Searson, but very little time to work with. He's going to have to try and get this bomb down quite soon, and there's a nice nade towards short. Damage done onto Tizian. This is winnable, but he is going to get caught off guard by Tizian as he just peeks out and finds the back of his opponent exposed.
And that round might just settle things here. Red Reserve stuck with a limited buy, to say the least. One Galil for Freddy Frog. Other than that, only pistols. Looks like we are going to see alternate attacks just go for their standard setup. UCFN holding towards mid. Searson is towards A with the AWP. So if this play were to come through, that's something they're going to have to deal with. Something that Red Reserve couldn't deal with in the past. And in a must-win round, it's not exactly great to have to push that AWP when you only have these pistols. So let's see if Searson can again get the A hold successfully.
Yeah, Freddy Frog currently the only one that actually has any sort of rifle to work with. He will have the Galil, but Pizian in a good position on their pallet's going to be able to find the first spraying away, doing the damage. He will be blinded, but he does actually manage to have the support from Searson. I was almost believing that he actually found the third kill there himself, but support was needed. Of course, that's nothing to be ashamed of. It is a team game after all, but Botan, he's left alone now to try and keep this alive, but in the end, alternate attacks, they are able to close that out, and we will just actually go to a quick commercial break before we return with AGO versus Team Spirit.